what he said, does that mean that you are going to hold Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk, Harley Race, the Road Warriors, Sting, Luger, the Steiners, Will, Ric Flair, Steamboat? Does that mean you're going to hold us all in the palm of your hands? To coin a phrase, I don't think so. You know, at 12 o'clock today, someone very special to me said, do not go on that show tonight knowing it's the last time that you'll ever be on TNT or TBS. Knowing it's the last time, she said to me, don't go out there and cry. Don't go out there and say you're sorry, because I'm not. I've been 14 times the world champion. In my eyes, for the greatest, you got it, the greatest wrestling organization in the world, WCW. I'm talking about the Stings, the Lugers, the Steiners, the Road Warriors. I'm talking about my best friend, Arn Anderson, and the Four Horsemen. We have been on a par, and we have been equal to any wrestling organization in the world. As a matter of fact, we have with you, Vince McMahon, for years. For years. And just for trivia, Vince McMahon, do you know that in 1981, when you were trying to become an announcer, your dad was on the board of directors and voted for me to be the world champion? Woo! How about that? And ever since that day, I have been a limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, that along with the whole WCW, damn it all, have kissed the girls worldwide. I made him cry. Did you see? We were every bit the force. We were WCW. We lived, we breathed, we sweat, we paid the price to be the best. Never been about the boys. It's always been WW versus WCW. In the office, the boys that have gone out there night in and night out, doing everything they could to be the very best at what they chose to do in their life. Those boys are here tonight. We are. We're not going anywhere. You can't hold us in your hands and predict our life. We're WCW. We bled and we sweat. When was the last time you wrestled for an hour, cut yourself 5 times, bled for 45 minutes? When were you there? You weren't. You never on the road 40 days and 40 nights, bleeding, sweating, going to the next town. You weren't there. You can't hold people's lives in your hands. We're the greatest wrestling company of all time. I want to say it again. You can't control us or our future. And in closing, let me say this. In all my years in this sport, my greatest opponent with this company has been Sting. So tonight, if we're going out of the hideout, Stinger, the Ninja Boy, wants you right here. Because that's right.
Oh my God.
That's right.
He wants Sting in the
Hey,
ring.
Sting, my greatest opponent. Sting, it's your last chance. Your last chance to be Sting. To be the man. You gotta beat the man. And Sting, I'm the man. Woo!
Hi, I'm Harvey Whippleman, and you're listening to the Turnbuckle Throwbacks with Phil and Jay, and that pain in the ass Choppy.
What this network needs, this network gets. I promise you that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Broadcasting live from Shaolin, Staten Island, New York City.
Freak Show Central.
Where's that?
New York City.
It's the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast with Phil, Jay, and that pain in the ass, Choppy. On Rant EM Radio, proud member of the Shining Wizards Network and Dark Satellite Media.
Turnbuckle time. 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 When you hear them coming, don't run for cover. Watching wrestling like no other. Turnbuckle time. Throwbacks from back in the day. Reviewed by Phil, Choppy, and Jay. They're American now.
Yeah.
Turnbuckle time. Turnbuckle time.
Turnbuckle time.
Turnbuckle time. Turnbuckle time. Turnbuckle time. Turnbuckle time. Turnbuckle time.
All right.
God, I never get tired of that.
If to answer your question, yeah, I did pick up my toys. Thank you. I had some fun on Facebook today. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 399 of the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast.
Almost a big 4-0.
400 next week.
Almost a big 4-0.
400.
Oh. I hear the old 400 like they say the old 400 is like the new 300.
Well, I don't know.
That sounded a lot better in my head.
That did.
Womp
It's a what's up? I wish I could have the intro song for the ringtone. That's funny.
Turnbuckle time.
Turnbuckle time. We're live on the Rant EM Radio, Rant Entertainment Media. We are part of Dark Satellite Media. We are part of the Shining Wizards Network. I am Phil, and that on the other side of my table is my tag team partner this week, the man, the myth, the legend, Big Copper Pump. Yeah, man.
Oh, I'm very excited. Dude, it's so funny. I'm all over this throwback this year.
Oh, yeah?
I was doing the last few days I've been doing this. I was trying to reread the Nitro book, but it's a long book. I can't do it. But I tried to do an abridged version. Man, I was just telling Phil, and I'm definitely conspiratorial minded.
Wait, hold on. Before you get into that, let's say hello to all our peoples. I see, wow, a lot of people in the chat room tonight. Uptown Georgie, good. Ron Singh, Matt Squires, my cuz bro, Richie Ward.
Anybody seen Richie?
Mr. Rob Domingo. Oh, that's Shaylin, sorry.
Fuck you!
That's Shaylin. This is Mr. Rob Domingo.
Doing flips and shit!
And on location somewhere is Mr. Mark Gassi. He's watching too.
Choppy's a pain in the ass.
Who hopefully he'll be back fucking next week.
Could have a re-debuting.
Yeah,
is he gonna have the heel beard?
I don't know. I'm gonna see him tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. We are getting a third tonight. My son should be here in a little while because he wants to play retro wrestling that I bought today.
Oh, there
on
we
the
go.
Xbox.
Retro wrestling.
It's like the continuation of WrestleFest.
Really?
Oh my god, it's hysterical. We'll show you when you get there. It's fucking great. Yeah, I picked up all my toys. I cleaned. I got really smashed last night.
Nice.
I got obliterated. I bought 2 of those giant size ciders.
Yes.
And I drank them on the ferry.
There you go, ferry beer.
And I came home and I was blasted.
You always got to have a ferry beer.
Well, I don't have because I got to lift to the ferry last night. I normally don't get. I normally don't take the ferry.
Yeah, I was about to say you usually take the bus. You said.
Yeah. But I got to ride to the ferry last night because I got out at 6 o'clock, and I bought 2 of them, and I pounded one down. I should have done that because I'm a lightweight. Ever since my surgery, since 2008, I'm a light drinker. 2 drinks, I'm in the bag. Right
there you go.
So now, fucking. By the time I get home, I'm blasted. I don't even know how I walked home. I drank the other one, and then I just started like I remember making a sandwich, and then I was on the phone, and then I called my mom to apologize for not giving her grandchildren. And she was like, "Phil, you gave me Michael though." I'm like, "Yeah, but you know, I'm sorry," and I'm carrying on to her. And then all of a sudden, I started tidying up the place. Right, then I passed out. And then I wake up this morning, hungover, and I decided to clean the entire fucking living room. So now and I was playing with I had toys that were put away, but the packaging was all fucked up. So I just opened He-Man and Skeletor, and I put them on the deck right in front of you.
Yeah, boob.
Yeah. That's right, He-Man, asshole. Yeah, Choppy, stay hustling, man. I'll see Choppy tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait.
See Chops tomorrow. And then, ironically, Jay and I are wearing each other's Christmas presents. We didn't plan that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing Jay's. Jay's wearing mine.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny how it works because it's gorgeous here. You know, in the Northeast.
83 degrees today. I wasn't going to go out. I got up. I cleaned the entire apartment, and then around 3 o'clock, I showered. And at 4 o'clock, I got a notification I didn't get a notification. I got a notification yesterday that my medication was at CVS. So you know what? I said, I'm going to walk. And bad move. Because, I take 3 steps and I'm sweating my balls off because of my thyroid thing and I'm fat, right? So Staten Island is next to the Bronx, has the most hills of any borough. So the entire walk, it's like a 1/7 of a mile, but it's all uphill.
Yes.
And I felt like I was running from the big ball from Indiana Jones because there was cars coming. And I'm like, what the I was out of breath. I was like, this is ridiculous. My friend's like, yeah, go for a walk. It's nice outside. I'm like, I'm fucking sweating my balls off over here. And then I get to CVS. I get to go, and then I go to the fucking Planet Wings to get some dinner gimmicks.
There you go.
And I see a bunch of kids on bicycles, and they all have the same haircut. They all have the same. I said, you kids are not original. I said one kid, I'm like, you guys all got the same haircuts. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, look at you.
Well, what do they got? The bowl on top of the head?
It's like this fucking curly mop on the top.
Oh,
and it's flat.
Yeah.
And it looks like
shaved all the way to the top.
And it looks like a bully fucking haircut. Like those with the bullies used to get.
That's what Taba originally. Last year I had the quarantine quaff. Let me take my headphones off. I had the quarantine quaff last year.
He says.
And it turned into getting my long hair back. Years ago, I used to have long hair. And I used to work at Lowe's back in 06. And there was this guy that was the second greatest compliment I've ever got in my life was, man, you look like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And it must have been the only wrestler he can remember with long hair. And I was like, all right, yeah.
Get a haircut. Hippie.
This is 06, 07. But then it was only trumped by years later where they said, you look like the drummer from Foo Fighters. And I was like, that's the exact look I'm going for. And I asked that girl to marry me at the bar at that moment.
I was listening to a Best of You, by the way, on the way to the gimmick, on the way to CVS. I got another.
But so anyway, so long story. But she wanted me to do the top knot. I call it the samurai, the top knot. Shave all the way up to the top and just have the top piece. I was like, what am I? I was like, they ain't fucking doing that. I was like,
I ain't fucking doing that.
Like, you want me to?
I'm over here now.
I'm going to grow my hair out like I used to. And she's like, well, I like it long. I said, oh, you have no idea what you're in store for. So that's it. Now I got what do I say to Fallon? My luscious locks out. There you go. Got my luscious locks out. So it shouldn't affect the golf game. It definitely doesn't affect anything else. So
I'm over here now.
There you go.
That's right. All right. So You said you had a conspiracy theory.
Oh, dude, come on. I said it to.
What's up, Elaine?
I said it to Phil. I'll get into more of it later. But
Oh, okay, good.
There's dude with this. So today marks 20 years with WCW being sold. Obviously, it happened days.
It
prior.
happened like 6-7 days prior, but
today
was
the last Monday night
episode.
show.
Yeah, that's our throwback tonight, by the way.
Is
Ron
and
singing in the room? What's up, buddy?
There's and like I said, 20 years to the day, and it's so like with looking it up, dude. There is so much shit that does not add up.
Yeah, Jay started routing off. Please just save this. He broke out his phone before he hooked up his computer. I'm like, please save this for the show.
Dude, I've been going
please
hard
save this
on
for the
this.
show. Please save
and
this for the show.
This is Mott Spock type shit, and he'll get on it.
Shout out to Mott Spock. He sent us a link to tonight's Ring of Honor show. We'll preview that. The anniversary show is tonight. I am so excited for the main event. By the way, I'll get into that in a minute.
By the way, and he the one that got Harvey too? He's the one that got
That's
Harvey.
Ron
Whipping?
Singh.
Oh, Ron Singh. I'm sorry. Thank you, Ron Singh.
Yeah.
But did you see that video with The Rock and Harvey Whippleman
with the car?
With
he bought him a truck.
Where he bought him a truck, like, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I always thought Harvey still worked for the E.
A lot of guys just fade off, though. You know, I was listening to D. Malenko on Jericho's podcast.
I can't wait to listen to that.
And he's got Parkinson's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But you know, hearing him, he's one of those guys that he was wrestling for 15 years before he even got a break.
Yeah.
Him and his brother were in Japan for a hot minute, right? And they were kicking everybody's ass.
Well, he was in WCW in 1990 with the World Tag League. Or 91.
No, Richie, Jay's working tomorrow, but he's on time today.
Yeah.
So that's why we're starting on time. Thank you. Thanks for noticing, cuz.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
I am tardy.
He did not. Most of the time you are, yes. But you know, it was the hell was I saying now? Oh,
he like you said, he was around for 15 years before.
Yeah,
that.
so a lot of guys fade off, you know. But and then D. Malenko, he's 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. You know, you have to understand something. He was pushing 40 when he got to ECW. You know, so it's like,
yeah, he was in his late 30s.
Yeah,
and still having just top tier matches.
Yeah,
even in WCW for that matter.
Oh, he killed it in WCW.
It's just for some reason he's like our generation Brad Armstrong. Where
he puts over Brad Armstrong.
Yeah, well, he has to.
It's so funny that you say that.
Yeah,
he puts over Brad, Ray. You know, whatever.
Because
you gotta listen to that. By the way, it's a good listen. It's a good listen.
He because he was single hand. Well, I mean, what was he? 95 or 96? Wasn't he Meltzer's Wrestler of the Year or PW? He was.
I don't know. 95 was in the fucking Triple Threat,
and
him, Benoit, and Shane Douglas were beating up on Public Enemy.
Yeah.
With a spade shovel in Florida. Snow shovel.
He was a top guy, man, especially inside the ring. Granted, he didn't have the promo skills, but in ECW, fucking
he had a mouthpiece though. He had Shane Douglas.
Yeah, he didn't need one.
Yeah, he
was a killer.
He didn't need it. Correct.
Right, the shooter.
Yeah, the shooter. And we share a birthday.
Oh, that's even better. That's right.
Yeah,
you know, I do remember that now.
Yeah, me and him, Kinski. So a couple cool wrestlers, a couple of legends, I should say. What's up, Augie?
Augie doing a run.
Augie doing a run and came out to see Uncle Jay.
But yeah, so like, you know, there's so many things about just the whole ending of WCW. It's so bizarre. It's definitely like you can't. I know we touched on it, but like you can't nail it to one thing. It's a lot of little things. I've realized as I've gotten older that everything in life is timing. And this was just an absolute perfect timing of just little things happening. To granted, the wheels were already off the wagon. This thing is skating down the hill. It wasn't going anywhere. Creative was just shit at this point. I mean, the most exciting thing that's happened within the last 6 months was Sid breaking his leg in fucking January or February.
I don't mean to cut you off. Yes, if you guys get a chance, it's on YouTube. Malenko Brothers versus the British Bulldogs in All Japan.
Oh, I never seen
it.
That.
Was Dynamite's his last run. Jay, can I tell you? Amazing.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
It is fucking brilliant.
That might be my bedtime fodder tonight.
Oh my! Matter of fact, that's gonna be a throwback.
Yeah, well, you could do that.
That's gonna be a throwback. Maybe we'll wait for Shiftface to get back and he'll fucking help us.
And Yeah, absolutely. I think we got to do that then.
Oh, yeah, no question. That is one of the greatest tag team matches of all time, hands down. Jay does need to see it. Yes, Georgie, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jay.
That's right. But like you said, to me, there's so many things that just don't add up. Especially, granted, we have hindsight now, so obviously, but with the narrative that who was going to buy it, and all of a sudden what it was sold for. That number is so vast. It's ridiculous.
And I revisited Bischoff's visit to Austin's podcast. They re-released it, and I listened to that just to get myself into the mode because he gets into it.
Yeah,
and he gets into the money and some things I didn't know, and we'll get into that when we talk about the throwback.
Because that, like I said, I mean, not that it was a throwaway show. It was essentially just shilling WrestleMania 17, and that's what I'm saying too. Like the timing of it is just so bizarre. It's just everything doesn't add up to me. So, like I said, it was a really fun to kind of go back and look into that. At least that aspect of it.
Yeah. So let's open up with Peacock, shall we? Is that okay?
Oh God, dude, I am so.
All right. So I text the boys this week because Choppy and I share the network with Choppy and Fallon, and I think a few other people share the network with.
Don't let Netflix hear you.
Jay has his own. I don't give a fuck. Jay has his own. So I couldn't share it with him, but I told everybody it's going to be the same password as the network, and people logging in and all that, whatever. And I didn't know that they didn't get all their content, and they're not going to get it maybe until August, right? What about the handicap match between Amber Lynn against John Holmes and Tom Byron? Wow. And they dropped several loads on her face, right, Jason? I forgot about that. Anyway, good stuff, Groomsy. How are you, brother? So, this sucks now because I wanted to watch Nitro on the network.
Yeah.
And get in, the last Nitro, it's a throwback tonight, whatever, and they don't have it. And I'm like, so now my network subscription expired on the 24th. It didn't renew on the 24th.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But I was still logged into it, and they said every time I clicked on a link, go to Peacock.
Yep.
But how can I go to Peacock when nothing's on it?
It's a huge fumble. In my opinion, especially with guys like us. I signed up day one. I know. I believe you did. You signed.
I never quit.
Yeah,
I never since 2014. I never quit.
Never stopped. It was February 2014.
Correct.
Same thing. It is what brought us there. Obviously, the new shit, the documentaries. I love that shit. I'm a big fan of the behind the scenes stuff. But Phil can always say, we were just saying it last week, like he was on a world class kick, Power Pro kick, like where I put it on and. You kind of, like you said, like you were saying today, you were watching WrestleMania 18. Like you kind of use it as background noise. In a sense,
especially the NWA WCW Saturday Night shows from like the 80s. I do like years at a time.
Yeah,
at a time I do that.
Yeah,
and
that's what's kind of shitty about this right now is that I don't know. The deal's been in at least been public knowledge. For
a couple months,
6 months.
But here's the thing too. Now they're taking stuff out.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation.
But all right.
I that's a whole other. At least in my opinion, with me is you had 6 months public. That deal had to been in the works for a year.
For the money he's getting.
For the money that he's getting, how are you not? This is like, everybody's like talking about like cancel the WWE network because of the fucking storylines and shit. No, now we're talking about our fucking pockets. Like, I'm there for the classic content. You give me a smattering of ECW. What is it? One fucking pay-per-view?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And only a few and the shit WCW pay-per-views to mind you.
Yeah, it's true.
And the classic content, why we go there, the hidden gem section was one of my favorite fucking parts. Like this is bizarre. How do you let this slip through the cracks through your fan base? This is something, and we're paying now. I will say, devil's advocate, we are getting Peacock, which is we're getting NBC and all this shit. And I see they got Saved by the Bell, the revamped series,
Every episode,
which I'm excited to
they
watch.
have every episode of SNL.
Yeah,
except there's no music.
which is shit.
That I wanted to. I know I shouldn't. I mean, I'm going to admit this. I don't care. I like Justin Timberlake.
Okay, yeah, he's
I think he's
triple
fucking.
threat,
I think
bro.
he's amazing.
He's a
I
triple
think
threat.
he's this generation's Michael Jackson in terms of his style, not in terms of selling records and
No, I see what you're
stance,
saying.
right? That whole
Well,
thing, you know.
I'd argue that he's better because he was a better actor than Michael.
Well,
Jackson.
yeah. Well, that's besides the point. He was, Michael's a child actor.
Well, Michael acted straight too,
but rim shot. So I want
Bell.
JT. His last hosting gig was hysterical.
Yeah,
and then he does his suit and tie with Jay-Z, and I was like, I love that episode. That he did that. He had a fucking a big band background. It was so good. The horn section.
Yeah.
Jay-Z comes out. He kicks his rhyme, whatever, and all of a sudden, I watched the whole episode. I'm like, where's the fucking music?
It's bizarre, only in the sense of that SNL owns the NBC. Well, whoever, what's his face, whoever created. Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels owns the stuff, and usually, even though the music is owned by the artist and or company or whoever, it's still
Their
property.
Yeah,
and that's bizarre.
But there's 45 years of SNL.
Yeah,
and like the first 25 are amazing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, I get we're getting a little bit of a trade off, but as I want the fucking network.
Yeah, I don't watch regular TV.
Yeah,
right. I'll binge watch certain shows. Flash, Supergirl. You see what the trend I'm going with? Mayans. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of regular fucking. I don't watch regular television, but when I do, I binge it. You know, so I don't watch it. So all that new shit is not for me.
Yeah,
you know, I'll watch old school Punky Brewster though.
Yeah,
all day.
Oh, even a new.
They got season 1 Greatest American Hero, by the way.
Oh, that I'm gonna watch.
Well, I have that on DVD, but it's still a fine show.
But you know what I mean. Like I get that aspect of it, but I'm sorry, but you had more. I don't know what it takes to load up the servers and the network, and we've touched on
that
this
last
already.
week. Yeah,
but I don't know what it takes. But I don't fucking know. Figure it out. We're paying $10 a month. You know, I want the fucking classic content.
Sure.
And it's stuff that I've been paying for the last 5-6 years it's the same thing. And I want to, because all of a sudden you discover new shit. I discovered like world-class stuff when I went through a world-class phase. Like I really enjoyed that stuff. You know, the Smoky Mountain stuff. I was watching a little bit of it.
So good, Jay.
And like I said, now we're being denied.
Yeah.
So now to the censorship part, which is, you know, it could be a hot button issue. You know, I get it. I get why they're doing it. You know, I'm not defending anything here. All I'm looking at it is objectively is you're censoring stuff that's kind of out of context in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know. Now, obviously, the Rowdy Piper WrestleMania 6 thing, okay, that makes sense. You know, I think even I think they blocked out the Vince McMahon calling Cena the N-word. They didn't even call him the N-word. He just kind of was going through that. Remember, when he was the champion, the ECW champion, he was going through the hip hop gimmick, like. It's stupid, and I get that. Like it's offensive. And listen, when was the last time we even thought of Vince McMahon ever saying that? But my thing is, then where does the bouncing ball stop? You know what I mean? Because then all of a sudden, does it take somebody behind the keyboard to go, well, I'm offended by Sting wearing the American flag face paint? You know what I mean? Like Great American Bash thing. Granted, that's an extreme example. But to me is if you start it, it's hard to stop. And that's always like and once again, this is not picking a side of the aisle type thing. This is just trying to look at it as objectively as I can. You know, I get it. I mean, but couldn't you get the same if you would just put up a disclaimer, you know how they did with like the Benoit stuff. You know what I mean? Like, which I never even understood putting up a disclaimer for the Benoit shit either. But if you did something adjacent to that, you know, where you can go, you know, the opinions or whatever, the actions expressed here.
Right. So, like, they have a John Wayne Gacy, George said, a documentary.
That's great. I can't wait to watch that.
Right. But, like, the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So, the other day, they had Disney Plus on in Steph's house. And the kid was like, I want to watch 101 Dalmatians. So they put it on, and it was like, they give you a fucking disclaimer. Lady and the Tramp gets a disclaimer, like all the old timey, because it's for the time. But here's my thing: like, if you're gonna do that all. Do it the whole. Don't cut shit out. Like with the Piper thing, it's been there for years. Now all of a sudden they deem it unfit.
That's
what pisses me off, right? So it's like, put the disclaimer up there. Hey, this, you know, you can do that. This fucking culture. This cancel culture is abysmal. I'm sorry, and guys are taking snapshots on their phones of stuff they're getting censored on Facebook, just saying stupid shit, like not even like swearing sometimes.
Yeah,
and they're getting like Shining Wizard Tony just posted something. Lopez got banned. Eric Martin got banned. I'm like, what the fuck? And it wasn't even like they were like being over the top ridiculous either. But it's like this fucking culture. Because everybody has a platform to piss and moan about something. How do you have a problem with a 60-year-old cartoon?
Exactly.
Anything over 20 years old is like a vintage
statute of limitations.
It's like a vintage car. You know how we Staten Island has probably one of the top 5 biggest Italian communities in the country. Okay, and a lot of our goombas, a lot of our uncles and cousins and grandparents. They all drive vintage, Jay included.
Yep.
Vintage fucking Cadillacs and Crown Vics and what do you have? You have
the Grand Marquis.
You have a Grand Marquis. Like, so it's like those cars are, and at one point the DMV will deem it a vintage car, and they'll say, all right, here, put the plates on it. It won't historical. It won't even pass an inspection anymore because these parts are outdated. The emissions are different, right? And I'm not a car guy, but this is just my thing because I know a lot of goombas have these cars. You know, I got a guy down the block over here. He's got a fucking 79 Eldorado.
Yeah.
With the rag top. Are you kidding me right now?
Beautiful.
I'm like, and then if that was Jimmy Ferrari, he'd be like,
I'm over here now.
Exactly. Your car was there, but now it's here. You know. But I digress. The thing about it is that you got the SVUs, the Law and Orders, the John Wayne Gacy's. You have all these other shows that they even fucking put a disclaimer on the Muppets, man.
Yep.
A 40-year-old puppet show.
Mr. Potato Head,
Aunt Jemima, Land O'Lakes. Don't get me started, dude. It's a deal. And I was talking to my therapist about this. She's like, well, you know, I was like, you know, she's like, you have to adapt. You have to adapt or just don't do anything in your life that's fun. You know, and I'm like, and she made a point to say that because it's like, you know, I don't have to accept it, but I have to. You gotta
move.
You gotta go with the flow.
Adapt is a good word.
You know,
but it doesn't mean that here's your plate of macaroni and cheese. You gotta fucking eat it. It's like, but because that's something like this. Because where does it stop? All of a sudden, because one person is offended, or you know, and once again, not defending anything. I'm not sitting there saying that it needs to be there or doesn't need to be there. But the fact that we're being whitewashed is the more pressing matter. Is that where you're taking something primarily out of context. Now, like I said, using Roddy Piper's thing as an example, not defending it. It's and at this point, it does age badly. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, is it? He was so dark. It didn't look like a black guy. Like he looked like a.
It was like the Al Jolson.
Yeah, it's like
shit.
And once
again, the guys dressed
up
in blackface. Yeah,
you know, like that I didn't think of. Like I said, it ages badly. I'm without a doubt saying that. But something like this is just, why is somebody telling us what's offensive? When if somebody, why is it I don't like it. I can't. Nobody else can like it. Like, why is somebody's views more important than the rest of us? That's, I think, the question that needs to be asked.
And that's why I said, as a Christian, I didn't boycott WWE when Austin was hung on a cross. They hung Sandman on a cross in ECW, and Raven had to come out. He didn't have to. Paulie suggested he come out and apologize to the crowd.
Yeah, but he did it in a way, though.
Correct. He did it as a work. He's like, I was told to come out here and
Yeah.
whatever. He worked the crowd. The bottom line is, though, it's the hypocrisy
Yes.
of the network to put these other shows on, and it's okay, but like you got shows about rape and murder and sodomy and fucking and everything else, but yet Roddy Piper dresses up in blackface in 1987, and it's wrong.
Yeah,
And it's like, come on, man. It's just, and it's not even reality TV.
once again, and it's not that it's not wrong. It is wrong, but at that moment, that story,
And-
it was a white-black
and no
issue.
one's referencing any of that stuff
Yeah.
now. People just need something to piss and moan about. That's what I've come to the conclusion that even fans of wrestling, and this is why Cornette is so big. And I don't want to get into Cornette again, but this is why Corny's so big now, because people just need a platform so they can be heard. The fans want to hijack the product.
We're moving on to the next thing.
Right.
I'm upset about this. Okay, this is stale. Oh, I found something. Let's go. And I swear, like some of these things, what was it, the thing that we talked about where it was Peter's new sayings or whatever, instead of saying 2 birds, 1 stone, it's two.
You can't use animals to make
use animals to make references.
Yeah.
And it's just like somebody's at home just going, yo, I wonder if this will catch any fire. Like I think honestly, people don't believe it. It just happens.
And to an extent, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. We do that to an extent, right? Here on the podcast. It's the current to the way back. That's been a model since day one, right? But the difference is our opinion is not gonna hinder anything that we're gonna watch, because you could, outside of you guys respecting and validating our opinions, which is why we do it. It's not we're not going on social media saying, "Hey, man, everything's wrong with this, everything's wrong with that," because at the end of the day, it's like I told you guys this a couple weeks ago. I can watch the worst pay-per-view on the planet, and I guarantee you I'll walk away with something positive out of it.
You can find something, yes.
Because I'm a fan. I'm a fan. And it's the same with baseball. People's like, I can't watch baseball anymore. It's a 4-hour game, 3-hour game. I'll tell you what, I'll sit through a 4-hour game because I love baseball, but B, I'll find something interesting that night or that day, because it's the game I love. I love professional wrestling. I love everything about the business. Since I'm 9 years old. Okay. And the direction it's going now is men's and men's. You got the whole networking and streaming aspect, and these independent shows gaining momentum with just giving out their product on social media and having
presence,
YouTube, right? And then you have the biggest product in the world shit in the bed 3 hours every Monday night, right? Because they don't have it. They don't want to wrestle anymore. They want to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
And that went beyond 1984, January of 84, And Jay and I were talking in pre-production. I was watching WrestleMania 18 with Rock and Hogan. And I was like, and it made me think about all the things that led up to that moment in terms of how the wrestling industry evolved as a product, And we'll get into the throwback tonight, because the final nail in the coffin was 2001, March 26, 2001. And then 4 years later was YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's like that was the, I don't know. All I know is that Peacock better fucking come correct, because we rely heavily on the network.
Well,
now we have to bootleg shit for the next 5 months, and I'm pissed off about it.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, we can get creative in a sense.
We will. We did, because that's what we do.
We're gonna get creative. We talked about like doing something. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to call some audibles if we can't. Like I said, we're in WrestleMania season. We wanted to do some fun WrestleManias, and
that's just, I don't need my government, a network, or social media to guide my moral compass. That's
absolutely right.
You're 100% right. And you know what? My moral compass will always give the benefit of the doubt to the things I love the most, whether it's my friends, my family, my job, my hobbies, this included.
Yeah.
Like anything I adore and I give all my effort into, my moral compass will allow me to give that the benefit of the doubt. And I got a very nice gesture yesterday from Mott Spock. He's posting like this every day, stuff that inspires him. He has like a whole list or whatever. And I was number something, right?
Oh shit.
And he wrote this big diatribe, and I was half in the bag last night, right? Like I said. And I remember just looking at it, and I got really, really, really emotional. And I said, I said, this DIY shit is my whole life. When I couldn't play baseball, I started a baseball team.
Yeah.
When my mom couldn't afford me to play Little League, okay. When I stopped playing hockey because I couldn't afford it league play, we started our own league. Okay. Football, we started our own tackle football team. We went to different neighborhoods, as my son shows up. What's up, Hammer?
Scared the crap out of
Yeah,
me.
right. But everything I did was DIY. Every single thing I did was DIY. I didn't care if I couldn't do it with the way it was. What's that, buddy? Clothes? Oh, I guess you're staying over tonight? Yeah. Are you in your pajamas? You didn't wear that to the store or anything, did you?
Why not?
Good.
You can't wear pajamas.
No, you can't. It's awful. No, I see idiots in the mall doing that. I want to put, all your people your age, by the way. Anyway, but like my DIY radar, always on point. Always on point. And it's the bottom line. So in hindsight, like you said before, it's just sad that the $5 billion that Vince got for putting this over to Peacock is now allowing them, Peacock or Universal, whatever you want to call it.
I think he was only given $1 billion.
$1 billion. I'm exaggerating, but either way, it was a lot of money. What's up, Mr. McLeese? I saw Mr. McLeese yesterday at work. I love Chris. But it's like that money dictates the fucking network doing their thing. Like, okay, we don't like Piper dressing up in blackface in '87. We're gonna censor that. We're gonna censor this. We're gonna censor that. But yet you have again SVU and John Wayne Gacy and whatever. It's okay.
Well, you know why? Because
politics prevents accountability.
Yep,
that's
exactly.
Why. Politics prevent. And ironically, Chris is in the room. One of our coworkers, Tony, always tells me that.
Yeah.
He's been telling me that for 14 years. Politics prevent accountability, and that's even at the workplace, at the plantation. I call
everywhere,
it.
Yeah,
everywhere you go, man. It's like ridiculous.
So, like you said, hopefully more. That's why I say that's a separate conversation, because to me, there's no excuse for not having all the classic shit on there. In my opinion,
no,
there's no excuse.
I can't watch the Von Erichs get beat up.
Yeah,
I had a whole. 84 was like that year. I got right up to where Kerry won the title. Kerry won the title, and then he loses it a week later in Japan. Thank God, right? He loses the title, and then they had the Gino Hernandez thing with, and I was like, oh, and Chris Adams goes heel, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I could watch this all over again, and fucking Peacock ruined it for me.
So, and then, like I said, to me, there's no excuse for that. I personally don't agree with, taking certain, you're cherry picking some stuff, but at the end of the day, once again, this is what we have to deal with. All we have to do is just adapt, and that's what we'll do. But what doesn't mean you have to like it.
No, you don't. 84 world class was fire. I agree.
So,
all right, where do you want to go first?
I got NXT written down.
Okay, so I just finished watching NXT before you got here.
Yeah.
They had the contract signing with Cole and
God, that was
so
good. Wasn't that so good? It's so riveting.
I'm mad that the UE isn't together anymore, but I'm really glad that they're all going to split up and because I have a feeling Roddy's going to be doing big things.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said to you originally was I'm surprised they didn't do it with Roddy, but I'm really happy that they're doing it with O'Reilly first, because to me, not counting Cole, because we all know Cole's upside. I personally love Roderick Strong. I want to see him.
He's my favorite. Outside of Adam Cole, he was my favorite.
But let's call it what it is.
Mr. ROH at one point.
Let's call it what it is. Where we are in WWE. There's a little bit of a ceiling he has to break. I think O'Reilly has a little bit more charisma on screen.
Well, Roddy's going to be involved in a whole.
He's gonna play a little.
Well, he's in that match where if he wins, he gets a title shot the next night at Gargano.
Yeah.
So he's in that 6-way, whatever.
But I think he's gonna have something to do with this match as well.
So Puerto Rican China and Dakota Kai. I like this Zoe Stark chick.
Yes,
she's impressing me. I like that. It was a good match. And then of course L.A. Knight. Yeah, dummy. Let me talk to you.
Yeah,
that dude cuts a mean promo, man. I love him so much. That name is awful.
The name is terrible.
Got it. But that guy is.
Bring back Sean Ricker.
That dude is fire.
Yes.
When he talks, he's like, "Let me talk to you." Yeah, and his facial expressions.
Unfortunately, you know what I think of when I see him, and I don't think it's going to go down the same way but I see EC3 because he is where EC3 should have been when he came in.
Yeah,
it came in because same thing,
Yeah,
on screen,
dummy. Yeah,
dummy.
Walter beating the shit out of Drake Maverick.
Can't wait.
I can't wait. Ciampa. Him and Ciampa are gonna fucking tear it up.
But
man.
Walter, how about Walter pulling double duty?
Why not?
Because he's wrestling the cat from UK.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't think of his name right now. And Ciampa possibly the second night. Obviously, he's gonna win.
And the whole Jordan Devlin thing with the cruiserweights.
Yep.
HBK comes out, puts the ladder in the middle of them. For what, NXT? Yeah. IC, right? That was that's WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania 10.
No, that was the original.
That was the original.
SummerSlam the following year was a double title.
Double title. Okay. Yeah, dummy. Yeah. But and of course Karrion Kross beating up on. Actually, Michael called me when I was watching Karrion Kross and Danny and Oni Lorcan. Danny Burch separated his shoulder. So he's out for 6 months. Tag titles. There's gonna be a 3-way for the titles.
That I can't wait for.
That's gonna be fun. I'm more excited about NXT than I am for Mania.
Big time.
But Mania's gonna be good. I think Mania's gonna be good this year with a crowd. I think it's gonna be fun.
So what days takeover?
I think it's the
Thursday,
8th and 9th. I believe.
Thursday, Friday.
8, 9.
Oh.
I'm actually off 8, 9. It's 7, 8.
I should have took off that week.
Yeah, I took off that Thursday, and then I took off that following Monday.
It's gonna take me 6 weeks to watch all this WrestleMania. It's gonna be like WrestleMania all day long.
We're gonna be 16. We're pulling. I don't know what your schedule is, but we're doing double duty that weekend.
Yeah, that I know. I want to try to come for that. I know we were talking about it through the group chat about April 10th.
Yeah, well, historically, and Double A just scheduled everything. We'll do Turnbuckle Throwbacks on Friday like we usually do.
Okay.
And then we'll do the preview to Mania. And then we usually do a throwback or like we open a conversation up to something. They're doing a Horseman Roundtable.
Ooh.
That Saturday. So I'm actually glad you got me that book for Christmas.
Yeah.
So now when I call in, I can actually, I can actually have a little more tidbits and whatnot. So anything else in NXT tickled your tits?
No. I mean, it seems like they're teasing Michaels Adam Cole thing. Because they had a backstage, they had a backstage altercation.
Please don't do that.
Nothing like
but he's like a trainer or something like that, right?
He's like, I think he's like
a producer or something.
Yeah, if Triple H is the head guy, he's the Pat Patterson to Triple H's Vince.
Yes, I'm just a sexy boy.
Listen, there are a lot of stories
I'm
about
not your
him.
boy toy,
but
I got a lazy eye.
I'm not too upset with that. But at what point, like, is it the law of diminishing returns where we're gonna, he came back for that tag team match, and he was the only good thing about that match. Sorry, Kane, the new inductee to Hall of Fame, Kane.
Yeah, Kane gets in,
and the Great Khali,
and Rob Van Dam.
Oh, they did confirm Rob Van Dam?
That's what I read.
I read that too, and because it's going to coincide with the documentary, which makes sense.
And and him and his hot wife.
Oh, Katie Forbes.
Dude, he had a girlfriend and a wife at the same time. That dude wins. He wins.
That's why he may be the greatest. He's the greatest wrestler ever because of that reason. Right,
he's the whole
fucking show. So, but I mean, we could talk about that really quick with Kane going in first ballot. Once again, this is where it gets to me because you go, I'm always the first one to say it. Why is this person in and not this person?
Well, if our buddy Tank was alive, he'd be the first one. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, you beat that was his bag.
But then at what point, like Undertaker retired this year? This big thing about
right,
the
but
Undertaker.
it's going to be in Texas in a couple of years. That makes more sense.
It makes more sense
Okay,
to be there.
and people, I was talking to Ben from our buddy Ben from the UK, has ringwars.com.
Yeah.
Well, how come Demolition's not in? Because they're in litigation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this again. I say this every year for the last 9 years. Everybody's going to get in. And if they don't, it's because of the families.
Yes. Owen Hart.
You have to get permission. You raising your hand? What? Those guys are going to get mixed in too.
They get mixed in.
It's like baseball's doing that too because Jeter got the nod last year. So they're going to do it for him this year.
Actually, Batista pulled.
backed out.
Well, he said he has prior engagement.
He has a prior engagement.
Sounds like it's too Hollywood for me, if you ask me.
He's a fucking pansy. Fuck that guy.
He, but I mean, this is where this argument is kind of not going to be valid to me because Kane obviously does not belong in before The Undertaker. But what's happening is
Coco Beware got in before The Undertaker.
Hey, Coco Beware deserves to be in.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but you guys are like this. And
I know
everybody's doing this, and everybody's gonna get in unless the family say no or they're not in litigation.
Choppy feels that Dynamite Kid's getting in. Dynamite Kid is never getting in.
Dynamite Kid will get in when the family agrees to it.
Never.
I'm just saying, if the family agrees to it, then he's gonna get in. If he doesn't, then he's not.
He's never gonna get in.
Bulldog will get in.
Bulldog's
in from last year.
Yep.
He'll give Dynamite the nod when he's up there. You have to.
Yeah.
The British Bulldogs one of the greatest teams ever.
Absolutely.
They were one of the greatest teams ever. Period.
But his life outside the ring.
What? Oh, okay, go ahead.
His life outside the ring, to me, is cast a huge shadow.
Sonny took loads to the face after her induction. But they didn't take it away from her.
After her induction.
But they didn't take it away from her.
And they didn't give it.
Chico is in, yes, George. Chico is in. He deserves to be in.
He went in with the big class, 06.
Oh, 06.
06
that was with Paul Hogan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Everybody's going to get in unless the family say no, or you're not in litigation.
That's
how it goes.
I think this is where, like you said, where that argument starts to get a little tiring because it's going to happen. And obviously they're going to wait for Undertaker. Undertaker retired with nobody in the building. There's no fucking way.
They're going to do. I'm telling you, it's
a massive
2 years in Texas. I guarantee you, he'll get in, and somebody's big's going to put him in. It's going to be he's going to be the headliner. It's going to be dope.
Who inducts Kane?
Taker.
I don't think it's going to be Taker.
Can't be Bearer. He's dead.
Obviously, it can't be Bearer.
Oh yes, I'm dead.
It could be. You could have an X-Pac.
It's got to be Taker, dude.
I'm going to go with no because I listen. Taker makes sense,
or it'll be somebody he was really cool with on the road when he was like, if it's an X-Pac, Mark Henry, somebody like that,
somebody that could talk well. I mean, listen, it would have been Big Show,
Jackie, Big Show, yeah, Big Show.
It would have been Big Show.
It would have been Big Show.
But Kane to me very deserving. Great Khali.
You know why Great Khali is in? You don't
India.
That's what I said on Facebook. Did you read that?
No, I didn't know.
I said the Great Khali got in because ... India.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I wrote.
Smart move.
They have triple subscribers in India. They buy more merch than we do. They follow the product better than we do.
You have no choice, but you're a global company. You're a global company. Guess what? Guess what makes sense? The dollar makes sense.
Everybody's gonna get in.
And not for nothing, but he really is like he's the epitome of a wrestler. You look at him. He was in The Longest Yard. I think he was in another movie. He was in
everybody's gonna get in, dude. Everybody's gonna get in. Everybody
except for Benoit.
Katie Vixen will put him in. Thanks, Chandler.
Oh, I couldn't think of the the casket. Katie
That's hysterical. Good looking out. One of the most awful gimmicks ever. One of the worst angles in wrestling.
May 19.
Stop. All right. Anything else, WWE?
Edge with a heel turn.
Good.
From Fastlane, huh?
Yeah, Fastlane. Fastlane wasn't bad, actually.
It actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that bad. But it like you said, I'm more excited for NXT than I am.
Yeah, but
it's just something about the NXT, the build up for some. Why does NXT get it right and not WWE? Like the stuff with Bad Bunny. Come on, give me a fucking break. You know,
That guy's awful.
To me, the best thing that's happening right now is SmackDown.
Yeah.
Everything on SmackDown. Apollo Crews is fucking killing it right
Nation. Ooh-ha Nation.
Just bring back the Ooh-ha Nation fucking
That's what
gimmick.
I'm saying.
Just fuck Apollo Crews. Fuck this white name. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
look at Jay. Jay's like, fuck that slave name.
Yeah, fuck that slave name. We're getting canceled. Did you hear that?
We're not. You were on YouTube. We're live, by the way.
Oh, we're getting canceled. We just hit the algorithm.
So let's get funky like a monkey.
But to me, SmackDown is head and shoulder. I've been saying it for weeks. The stuff with Daniel Bryan. Oh, did you see the faux pas with Daniel Bryan?
Yes, I saw it.
Daniel Bryan could be inducting Kane.
Yeah.
Which would be great.
Yeah. I'm the tag team champion.
Yep.
I'm the tag team champion. That'd be cool if D-Bry did it, though. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I listen. Undertaker has been great with pulling back the curtain, but on WWE,
whatever, man. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in there. Whatever, it is what it is.
But all right, let's go to AEW.
AEW's Kenny Omega and Matt Sydal put on a clinic. That was fun.
Clinic.
He's now playing the role of schizophrenic.
I love it. And this is what we said. We said it from when he was doing this slow. He started off very slow, and we said it's like, just hold on tight. It's gonna happen. And right now, he's delivering. In my opinion, Kenny Omega's delivering. What he's doing on Impact is great.
Yeah,
the stuff with the Good Brothers.
He's name dropping like New Japan. He's name dropping Impact. He's fighting. Him and Rich Swann are fighting for the title now. Title for title.
The stuff with the Good Brothers and Moxley and Kingston.
Johnny Moxley.
I'm a fan of, but
yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm just a fan of Eddie Kingston on the TV.
It's a little bit of that. He's on another planet right now.
It is a little bit of that.
Darby Allin versus Josh Silva was good for the TNT title. I like that.
John Silva out hurt 6 weeks.
He got hurt after that?
He got hurt during the match.
He's a small dude though.
Yo, but you see his stuff on being the Elite?
Yeah. The last thing I actually watched him with was when he had the title. They had was it beer pong or something like that?
Yeah.
So it was like they had the golf thing.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. The Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus Lucha Brothers and the returning Laredo Kid.
I can't believe Laredo Kid on AEW.
Yeah, but how about, and I got to tell you, as much as Jim Ross annoys me when he keeps name dropping, he says the same shit. He is right, though, about Phoenix. If Phoenix ever decided just to break off and be his own guy, he could be the next Rey Mysterio. He's that fucking good. Him and Pac are like, and Pac's hurt again. Him and Pac are like neck and neck in terms of skill.
When did Pac get? He got hurt on Wednesday?
He got hurt last week, I think.
Shit.
So now they get the tag title shot. They gotta wait till he gets back.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Listen, Ray Phoenix is probably, he's got to be in the top 3, top 5, definitely top 5.
I'm telling you,
top 3 workers in AEW.
He can break off, and like him, Adam Page, those guys can run the company. They could be the future of that company.
MJF,
yeah, of course, MJF.
Dude,
yeah.
MJF gets it. This stuff, the Pinnacle
fought. It was Pinnacle. Was it? It was 6-man. It was the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin versus the Sean Spears and FTR.
It's good. It is perfect because what you're doing is establishing how good the Pinnacle can be. Now, granted, they're not fighting names, but it doesn't go that way. Ric Flair didn't fight a name every time. He had to fight a George South, and you give them a little bit of something, but these guys are fucking stars to me, and like I said, I love MJF's just the character itself. He's a heel through and through. Even when he was in the Inner Circle, he was still himself, and you just knew, you were just like, it's a ticking time bomb.
The controller's behind you if you want to put the Xbox on. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna review Retro Wrestling. It's a really good game.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the Pinnacle stuff. I love the fact that Tully Blanchard is playing the J.J. Dillon role right now, and I think it is a perfect spot for him. And hopefully, and What is Tully? 60, 67? What did we say he
Well,
is?
Flair's 72. He's got to be like almost 70. He's like 67, 68.
Yeah.
He's like my mom's age, like 66, 67.
Listen, even when he had that match a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
he was good. I'm a fan of that stuff. I'm really taking hold of that. What was the other thing?
Oh, Tay Conti. Tay
I
Conti.
love her.
The Brazilian chick. She beat Nyla Rose.
Shocking win. Listen,
I'm not shocked. I think that dude should lose all the time. I mean, she should lose all the time.
Did you hear that? We just got canceled again.
We got canceled again.
We just
Yeah.
got canceled again.
Yeah, Retromania.
Look at Retromania. Look at Cop.
Yo, I had the Road Warriors. I was fighting Nikita Koloff.
Get fucking Nova off that screen.
No,
Although he is the
stop it.
BWO.
Stop it. Dude, I won the title with Stevie Richards, right? But I had a match. I was the Road Warriors against Austin Idol and Nikita Koloff. Dude, I got my
Johnny
ass
Retro.
kicked. I got my ass. What's allowed? Johnny Retro. Get it?
Johnny Retro, yeah.
He can't be Johnny Nitro. He can't be Johnny Impact.
Yeah, but you know what?
He can't be Johnny Mundo.
But how is Big Stevie Cool allowed?
They didn't trademark it.
That's not ECW.
They didn't trademark it. He owns it.
Smooth.
Right? All right, let's see real quick. AEW, that was it. The deal was with AEW. Okay. Ring of Honor is tonight. Thank you, Mott Spock, for hooking us up with the Dragon Lee is out.
Oh,
Dragon Lee is out. Brian Johnson, Eli Ism versus LSG and Danhausen. My name is Danhausen. Hello there.
I tell you one
I
thing.
like Danhausen. Hello there.
I've been watching a few of his things that on YouTube. He has like a cooking show or whatever.
He does. He's fucking. He's awesome. That dude.
Everything is Hausen. Like
Ian Riccaboni is the announcer. Him and Cole Cabana are the announcers on the game.
Look at that. Oh, and Johnny and Hammers are going to go up against Cole Cabana.
Yeah.
I've been watching a few of Danhausen's
is good, man.
I've been watching a few of his indie matches too.
He's good. Yes. Yeah. Hello there. You sound like Skeletor. Dalton Castle versus Josh Woods. Mark Briscoe versus Flip Gordon. There's some heat there because Mark Flip cost Mark the TV title, I believe, or something like that, whatever it was. Matt Taven will fight his former partner Vincent Marseglia. And EC3 versus Jay Briscoe. It's going to be a great match.
That's going to be a match.
Yeah, pay-per-view starts at 9, so actually we'll get to watch most of it because we'll be done with the show. This could be good for the ROH Tag Team title. Kenny King and Bestia Del Ring versus Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, who was just on Shining Wizards last week, and Rhett Titus.
Rhett Titus,
former partner of Kenny King.
I was just going to say.
The All Night Express? That was that called? Rhett Titus and Kenny King? The All Night Express? Yes. And then Hot Sauce again. Tracy Williams, he gets a TV title shot at Kenny King.
Oh, he's pulling double duty.
Yep. I'm looking forward to these two matches. Pure Championship.
Yes.
Jonathan Gresham versus Dak Draper. Dak Draper's an up-and-comer. He's going to be good. And the match I'm looking forward to the most is Rush defending his title against Jay Lethal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all tonight, 9 o'clock. It's the 19th anniversary show, Ring of Honor. It's on Fight. And wherever you bootleg your gimmicks. So
Jay and Silent Bob in the bottom right, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be some good stuff. And there's I seen on whatchamacallit, excuse me, Zelina Vega is talking about her name was in the news as almost to why she wasn't signed to AEW. Supposedly she has prior engagements as it was. And so there's talks about where Andrade is going to land. Like you said, you're saying he's a perfect fit for ROH, which I can't disagree.
Well, his people are there, and Rush has been the Los Igonable American stable has been. They have all the belts now in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And Rush apparently has been recruiting him in Spanish.
Yeah.
So can't knock that hustle. Rob just sent me a link for the new Bad Luck Fale shirt.
Oh yeah,
I can't with these fucking shirts. I'm like, I don't have any room, dude. I have no room.
I'm going through with it right now with all that to go. I'm moving.
You're moving with the girlfriend. Big move.
And all I'm doing is going through old wrestling shirts. I'm like, and old like rock shirts.
When I first moved out here, I had to hide all my shit until Michael came home and told me he watched Nitro.
Yeah,
and Raw. You don't remember that, do you? You were a baby and mom didn't want you to watch wrestling at all. And you watched Raw. Guess what I watched today? I'm like, oh yeah. And I walked over to that suitcase and all this shit came out. All right, Sakura Genesis is this Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Jay mentioned in pre-production that they're probably going to introduce the new title.
Yeah, a new heavyweight championship. I think is going to be fucking.
They're going to I think they're merging the two titles. They're not going to.
Which I'm not upset with. I mean, excuse me. New Japan has a lot of different belts.
Right, but they have now. But that's the thing, though. If they merge the IC title and the world title, they're gonna have to fucking bump up that neverweight title.
Yes,
to be the secondary.
Oh,
title.
yes, for sure,
Okay.
without a doubt. You got to add a little bit more prestige to it. But I agree. I think you could. I love the design of that belt, though.
Yes.
I hope they don't change it too much, but I am excited to see what it is going to be look like.
All right. First match, 8-man tag, Gabriel Kidd, Uemura, Tsuji, and the coach Taguchi taking on Naito, LIJ, Naito, Sonata, Takagi, and Bushi. Your second match, Master Wato, Tiger Mask, and Sho. Sho and Yo are back. Yo's back, by the way. Yo's back. He looks really good. Fighting Dookie, Kanemaru, and El Desperado. That's Suzuki-gun. 8-man tag is Chaos, Yoshihashi, Ishii, Goto, Yano, and Okada versus Bullet Club. Ishimori, Takahashi, Bad Luck Fale, Kenta, my man Kenta.
Oh, yeah.
And Evil. Next match is a 6-man. Yuji Nagata, Tenzan, and Tanahashi versus Jay. What? And Jado and Gato. That's awesome.
Jado and Gato still going at
107 years old, correct.
Oh my god.
Hamna, Kojima, and Kota Ibushi versus the new faction of Will Ospreay. Jeff Cobb, was United Empire. Jeff Cobb, Great O'Khan. Jeff Cobb's in this game, by the way.
Yes.
So was Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay. Okay. That's your main event, actually. So anything else? Any other news? Oh, I do have the brackets. We were down to the Elite 8.
Yes, the Elite 8.
Okay. So in the East bracket, Legion of Doom beat the East-West. Legion of Doom beat the Rock and Roll Express. They move on. Edge and Christian.
Surprising, too, by the way.
Edge and Christian beat the Nasty Boys.
That's not too surprising.
The Fantastics beat Bad Company.
That's not definitely. Bad Company really was like the Cinderella team of this.
Yeah, they were. The Freebirds beat the Texas Outlaws.
That's shocking. Freebirds were over though, man.
Yeah. The Gorillas of Destiny beat the Freebirds.
Wow. Yeah.
And then the FTR beat the Lucha Brothers.
Listen, I told you FTR all the way.
So now your Elite 8, your East bracket will be the LOD versus Edge and Christian, and the Gorillas versus FTR.
Wow.
Now, in the West bracket, the Dudleys beat the Young Bucks.
Yeah. That's a little shocking.
Okay. The Hollywood Blondes beat the Miracle Violence Connection.
You know what? I take it back. The Hollywood Blondes might be the Cinderella team of this fucking thing.
The Hart Foundation beat Demolition.
Yeah.
And Anderson and Blanchard beat Hanson and Gordy.
Wow.
So now your West bracket is gonna be Dudleys versus the Hollywood Blondes, and then the Hart Foundation versus Anderson and Blanchard.
Beautiful brain busters, huh? Listen, how do you not pull for a nice FTR against fucking brain busters final?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm shooting for.
That's what I'm shooting.
Vote on the Facebooks.
Vote on the Facebook gimmicks. Everything gimmicks, right, boys? Everything's gimmicks.
Gimmick.
All right, listen, let's take a quick break. I have to leak like it's nobody's business. Mad fluids today. And plug our friends, and we'll come back and we'll do the last episode of Monday Nitro.
Yeah.
We are the Turnbuckle Throwbacks. It's Phil, it's Jay, it's Hammer, it's retro wrestling on the TV gimmicks. And we'll be right back. Let Alfred Hayes take us to the break.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years. But when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantdmradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. And it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out. Head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Horns up, beautiful motherfuckers. Radioactive Metal is here on the Shining Wizards Network, and we want you to listen.
Every week, we cover the world of heavy metal and speak to your favorite bands.
We discuss new releases, concerts, controversies, and everything else that's related to heavy metal.
And occasionally, we even talk about pro wrestling.
Catch us live every Thursday night on purerockradio.net.
Listen to past episodes at radioactivemetal.org or at shiningwizardsnetwork.com.
And remember, it's not metal unless it's radioactive metal.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin.
And Vince.
Your host of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? This is former WCW wrestling star Glacier. Make sure to tune in to Turnbuckle Throwbacks with Phil, Jay, that big pain in the butt Choppy. So make sure you tune in before blood runs cold on you.
What is the fate of WCW? I own WCW. The very fate of WCW is in my hands. I, Vince McMahon, I have purchased. I own my own competition. Well, there's Jeff Jarrett. Now, as far as the Jeff Jarretts of the world are concerned, you know how Jeff spells his name? That's J-E-F-F. Well, you know what? I would suspect that we'd spell it a different way after tonight. That would be capital G, double O, double N, double E. Gone.
The czar of sports entertainment, Vincent K. McMahon.
For the first time ever in sports entertainment history, this broadcast is not only being seen here on TNN, but is also being seen across Turner Network Television. Time Warner is practically begging me to buy WCW, and I have agreed. Time Warner, they've signed the contract, and I will sign the contract. But I'll sign it this Sunday on pay-per-view at WrestleMania. And I'll sign it when Ted Turner himself walks down the aisle at WrestleMania and delivers the contract in front of me. Now then, what should I do with WCW? WCW will remain buried.
Oh my! Shane McMahon!
Must be here in Cleveland because he's not in Cleveland. He's in Panama City. Shane McMahon is on Nitro.
Surprise, Dad. Your ego has gotten the best of you. You wanted to finalize this deal, WCW at WrestleMania. Well, Dad, that's just the opportunity that I was looking for. The deal is finalized, and the name on the contract does say McMahon. However, the contract reads Shane McMahon.
I don't believe it.
I now own WCW.
Shane McMahon has bought WCW, and Mr. McMahon is in absolute shock.
All right, we're back. Turnbuckle Throwbacks. It's Phil, it's Jay, it's Hammer, chat room.
Hammer on the Retromania.
Game is really good. I played it for like 3 hours today.
Yeah, I said it reminds me. As soon as I look at it, I always think of like WCW Revenge and No Mercy on 64. It kind of looks like it, but I mean,
It's just a continuation of WrestleFest.
Yeah,
basically is what it is. The problem is with this company that put it out, took them forever. It was supposed to come out last year, and there was glitches, there was a patent issue. So the guy just put out another video on Tuesday saying that it's coming out. It came out midnight. It came out on the Steam first for PC, but it came out yesterday for Xbox. So I was like, you know what? I said for $25, and I'll get it on the Switch too, because I could take it to work with me and stuff like that on a bus or whatever. But the game is like, it's fun, it's mindless. I was talking to our boy Will Sweeney today because he called also.
Okay.
And I said that I think I'm gonna have to buy like an arcade stick.
Oh yeah.
Because you know what? I have all these fighting games, and I have like I like those these mindless games like this. Like, you know, there's no really strategy. There's just taps the buttons. But you know, when I was a kid, it's choppy. What do you call it? When I was a kid, I dumped you fucking mook. You know, I dumped a bunch of money into this game, WrestleFest, in the pizzeria on Myrtle Avenue in Queens. So like, this is near and dear to me. And on top of that, it's just it's fun. It's just a fun game. It's not high tech. It's not, you know, and the wrestlers that are in it so far are not bad. The roster's good. Like I said, the Road Warriors are in it. Tommy Dreamer, Johnny Nitro's in it, and whatever they call them now. The Blue World Order. You got Austin Idol, Nikita Koloff, Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana and Ian Riccaboni do the commentating. Nick Aldis is your world champ. You have to fight him for the championship, the 10 pounds of gold. It's just a fun game. And then they're going to have a bunch of DLCs too. They're going to have like different characters you can download and stuff like that. So for $25, you can't go wrong, you know? So, and that's pretty much it. So are we ready for our throwback of the week, Jay?
I think we are ready.
All right.
And now, here is your throwback of the week, sponsored by the Shining Wizards Network and Rant EM Radio.
All right, Big Papa. Let's kick it back to the March 26, 2001 from the Boardwalk Beach Resort in Panama City, Florida. Tony Schiavone and Scott Hudson on a stick. It is the final episode of Monday Nitro, which debuted in September of 1995 from the Mall of America in Minnesota.
And ends in the courtyard of a hotel.
Correct.
In Panama Beach.
In Panama Beach.
What?
Do you remember the first match on Monday Nitro?
The first match was Liger against Pillman.
Correct. Good. See, that's why we like you, man. You're on point.
I retain shit.
You retain shit. I like things.
I like things. But it's an unbelievable. It's a really, like I said, I mentioned it earlier on, and you got to forgive me because I'm like I just been doing so much of reading about it, and it's really is, and there's a just a side note that there's a book that I found out is out there about the AOL Time Warner
The
merger
merge? Okay.
itself.
All right.
I forget the name of it. I looked it up. How it's one of the most wrestling term botched fucking how they pushed Ted Turner out of charge of Turner himself is unbelievable. That whole scenario is just unbelievable.
Well, listening to Eric Bischoff there's a 2-parter on Steve Austin's podcast. Listening to him now, again, we've talked about wrestlers and personalities when they do shoots, they do interviews later. They have like selective memory,
revisionist,
right? And of course, Bischoff has a podcast, the 83 Weeks,
which I out of everybody on Conrad.
Yeah, I don't support that at all.
But Bischoff's is fascinating to me. He's somebody. Him and Shivani kind of really tell it. They don't tell you what people want to hear. They give you their perspective. They're not trying to bury anybody. It's more of a perspective thing. Which Bischoff is another one that's always. Everybody's kind of like give a take on him, like he's a lying sack of shit, or he tells it like it is. I personally think he's the latter. I think he's somebody I've grown to love in the last few years.
Need a mouse pad over there?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but listening to Bischoff, I didn't know because it's not, like I said, it's not in his book. Controversy Creates Cash. It's not. None of this is in the book. He tells Austin that at one point. When the merger came, the company didn't even know what to do with the product, and they were bleeding money. So before they were bleeding money, Eric Bischoff was like, they apparently WCW, when he came into power, WCW was like, they had all these house shows, these live events, and they were bleeding money into these events.
Yeah,
and he was like, let's concentrate all of our efforts on the TV product. And then you put the house shows out, and then you make your money off because between the merch and the TV, after '96, after Bash the Beach, obviously,
that's when
that's when the fucking thing exploded. Now, this merger, I didn't know nothing about it, and at the time, it was this was mainstream story because of the merger.
Yeah. Well, AOL and Time Warner itself, they first merged, and then Turner merged with Time Warner, and then I'm sorry, let me start from the beginning. AOL merged with Time Warner first, and then acquired Turner, and more or less, Ted Turner was kind of removed from the equation long before he even knew it was going to happen. Even of Turner's stuff himself, he had no control over, because he created this huge conglomerate that and once again, this is just my understanding. So if I get something factually wrong, I apologize, but this was my understanding. And when AOL Time Warner came in, you got shareholders, all this stuff. You got so many bigger things that you have to deal with that nobody at Turner really knew what was going on. And AOL Time Warner itself absolutely stared down their nose at wrestling. Like they didn't want anything to do with wrestling. So this is playing into one of the conspiracy theories. Whereas come 99, 2000, they were bleeding money. Supposedly lost $68 million, which is an unheard of amount of money. Like you cannot bleed that much money and still be a company. since WCW, since Turner acquired WCW, the accounting has been shit. It's always been spotty. And apparently companies do this a lot where they'll move stuff around inner to if WCW did make money, they didn't show it in WCW. They showed it in somewhere else of other part of Turner. So no matter what happened, it was always when they did make money, of course, WCW made money. But when they were losing money, they just kind of brushed it underneath the rug. And I think that's what finally caught up to it. So that's playing into that whole conspiracy theory of why they sold, which I'll get into a little bit later.
So how do you want to do this? Because I don't have any. You have your conspiracy theory notes?
Yes.
All right. So you want to break down the card, or you want to do your
Let's break down the card.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because the card in and of itself, it was supposed to be a celebration. This is what
Night of Champions.
It's. But this is what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense to me. If you really think about it, WrestleMania 17, arguably the biggest fucking WrestleMania, you know, at least now in hindsight it is, but at that point it was a huge show. 6 days before you're buying WCW and you're gonna make it part of a storyline, the timetable does not add up to me. So, like I said, we opened up with a great Vince promo, and
it did a 3.0 on the rating.
And by the way, and this is the other part of it too. Turner TBS canceled Nitro and Thunder. Nitro was still pulling 2.0 ratings.
Right.
Like WWE today would literally lop off its own arm. Vince would lop off an arm to get a 2.0 right now.
Exactly.
So this shows you where the business was
at that point. 20 years ago. That's a great point.
And like I said, what doesn't make sense is what Nitro was TNT's #1 rated show, and you're canceling it. So once again, there's a flag. I'm calling a flag on that play. That's why I'm thinking something else is I smell a rat somewhere, basically. So at this point, they're doing a simulcast.
Yes.
Which
I played before the break.
Unheard of.
Right.
Vince cuts would you say a half shoot, half work promo?
Correct.
Especially the shit he's talking about with Jeff Jarrett.
Yep.
Which, not for nothing, Jarrett had coming, in my opinion.
I mean, at that point, if you're gonna do it.
You got to do it. And we played the Flair promo, which we'll talk about the Flair promo later. But like people there, and from all accounts, nobody knew what was happening.
Well, the show opens up with Flair's promo.
Oh, he was the first guy. Yeah,
correct.
He was out in the ring.
So he.
I thought the Booker. I forgot the Booker T match.
The Booker T's the first match,
yes.
But Flair opens up with the promo.
So to talk about Flair's promo, if you listen to Flair's another one of these guys. I love Rick. He's another one of these guys though that have a misrepresentation sometimes. You know, a cognitive dissonance where you accept something as it is, but from a perspective of, you know, it already happened. I'm losing my train of thought with that. But he said that he was exhausted, he was tired, he was done with WCW. That promo does not prove of that.
Right.
So either he's working and he's just trying to get on the good side of that equation, or at that promo, he's working for a job for WWE.
Well, that was my next question to you. How many guys do you think thought that they were going to be retained? Because you have to understand something. Vince didn't really, he only absorbed a few people.
If even
right,
a few people,
right, and everybody else was like, apparently, I don't know how true this is. Maybe you can shine a light on this. Apparently, there was like guys were given like options.
It was false.
It was false because I thought.
Well, no. I take it back.
Like Bagwell and Steiner and all those other guys.
So it's kind of it's two different stories merging into one. This is that classic fishing story. So the rumor was, and I think Bischoff knocked it down. Whereas when Fusion, when Bischoff was in charge of like helping with the negotiations. It's the story went with him was like he went up to the top guys and said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna buy the company, but we need you to take half the money." Like what fucking guy would ever do that? First off, that would never happen.
Right,
And supposedly that never happened anyway. What did happen and they did do it was Booker T and DDP are the only two guys that did it. They opted out of their Time Warner deals.
And they got new deals.
Okay. They're the only two guys that opted out. I think Bagwell.
Well, Time Warner paid everybody else the rest
to stay home. That's why Big Papa Pump didn't come to 2 years later. Flair didn't come to a year later.
Right.
Hogan didn't come until 02.
Right.
Nash. That's why all these guys didn't come until later on.
Okay.
You know, and once again, but look at what happened. So to circle back to what you said, Booker T was absolutely factored in. He was the star on this show. I think a few guys thought that, Booker T being one of them. I think DDP. If you look at DDP when he talked to the crowd, did he have a backstage? He had the backstage promo. No, he came out to the front. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he
had the promo in front of the crowd. Like you could just see super baby face. I think once again, I think a lot of it was a swan song type thing, but I think it was he knew in his head he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go to WWE, and the option is, hey, listen, we're not going to pay you this. You can either stay home and, collect your Time Warner check or come and I'll give you an opportunity. And like I said, I think Bagwell was another guy that did it. And, that famous story with Bagwell and Booker T having that clunker of a match that supposedly killed the Invasion, which I don't think that's true either.
Yeah, I agree.
But, yeah, I think quite a few guys, and I think for everybody else, this was like the cruiserweights. This was a chance to shine. Shane Helms, obviously. Oh, how many of these guys were on this show that ended up there? Quite a few guys.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, quite a few guys.
Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, the June Drag. Well, Jamie Noble, Jamie Noble, Chuck Palumbo, Sean O'Hare.
Yeah.
Lance Storm, Mike Awesome. Well, Mike Awesome wasn't on night.
Yeah, he was.
Lance Storm was on Raw.
And Awesome, yeah.
Mike Awesome? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Mike Awesome was in WWE. Was okay. Sean Stasiak.
Yeah.
Bigelow was everywhere.
Bigelow didn't ended up going back to.
And you look at it. Elix Skipper didn't go. Kid Romeo didn't go.
No, AK didn't go.
Prince Ayakoko didn't go. Never went.
Yeah.
So, all right. So your first match, like you said, was the U.S. title and the world title.
Yep.
Booker T against Big Papa Pump, your namesake.
Yep. Did you notice the tape around Scott Steiner's foot? That's that famous injury he had where I forget what it's called.
Oh, that dead foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you, for somebody that had dead foot or whatever it's called, Scott Steiner was a beast.
Oh no, it was. I liked him for a while, and then when he showed up on Nitro, on Raw a couple years later, I fucking popped for that. But yeah, this was one of the guys that I thought Vince was going to keep because I didn't know anything about the contracts.
Yes.
I was, I was still. I mean, I was on the internet.
This time, yeah.
I was still on the internet. I was in the internet, but I wasn't one of those dirt sheet guys. I just guesstimated a lot of and first of all, I was working like fucking 15 hours a day, 7 days, 6 days a week. I just started my career like a year before that. So like I was totally involved, but in the same breath, I wasn't really the mark. I didn't go to a lot of matches at that point anymore, and I was not reading the dirt sheets at all. I was just buying magazines and guesstimating shit and VHSing everything. So it is what it is. This match went like 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a little short match. I mean, it was a good match though. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this was a really good match.
Booker T was always fun for me.
Booker T is like, I think criminally underrated in a sense.
You think so? Because I thought they showcased him pretty well when he came in.
Oh yeah, but I mean in in retrospect,
price check on a jackass.
Yeah, I just watched that again for the first time.
I watched it again with Austin week.
I think that's why I seen it. No, I mean in the sense of that he never gets talked about in that way. Like it's always, certain guys always get the nod, but Booker T clearly, especially at this point, was just coming into his own as a singles wrestler. He deserved to have the belt. He won the belt a year prior, and he, to me, just I sometimes I think he's often overlooked inside the ring. You know what I mean? Like what he does in there, just smooth as silk.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
and especially in this match, it showcased that he needed the win, and then he had the promo. We'll talk about it later on when he had the promo and everything. But yes, he wins with the bookend, the rock bottom, which was clearly a nod. Even during during WCW's heyday, it was a Rock ripoff.
Your next match was the number one contender match for the WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team titles. It was a three-way.
Useless fucking belts.
Exactly. The Filthy Animals, Kidman and Ray Ray with no mask, versus 3 Count, Shannon Moore and Evan Courageous, and the June Dragons, Kaz Hayashi and Yang.
I just wanted to say before we get into it, and then they did, especially with the simulcast, like they did. They had Vince in the locker room in his office, what have you. Back in where was Raw? Raw was in Cleveland,
Ohio, the Gund Arena.
Yeah,
home of the old home of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Before this match, like he's making fun of Nitro and how it's in the South and where it's at, and like if you think about it, like you're making fun of a company you just purchased.
And he's from the South, by the way.
And he's from North Carolina.
He's a native North Carolina guy, yeah.
But like you're making fun of a company that you just purchased that obviously we don't know what the fuck you're gonna do with, and we know that and I understand he's working, but I don't know. It's like that old promo mentality. Like you're not supposed to make fun of the guy you're facing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But anyways, yes, this match was just a huge spot fest.
Matt Squire says, don't forget Booker T also fought for the letter T.
Yeah.
It's true.
His most underrated match. You're right.
You're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He fought to have the T back in his name.
Well, I'm sorry, Jay. You were saying?
This match was a little bit of a spot fest, but we said it fairly recently. Start of like today's genre, like you could tell, just for lack of a better word, choreographed. You know what I mean? Just a spot fest. Let's call it what it is, especially with guys. Mysterio just killing it at this point. Maskless, which is hilarious to see him. Without a mask.
Yeah. And it what sucks is that with a match like this, you wanted to go more than like 5 minutes.
It went like 4 minutes.
3 minutes, 40 seconds.
Oh,
yeah,
come on. Like and to me, once again, that's why to me this card it was a good card, but like to me the more important part is like the backstory, because the night didn't mean anything. Like one of the cool moments was we'll talk about the match later on. The next match to me I actually really enjoyed was
the Cruiserweight title match.
Yes. This match I enjoyed.
Sugar Shane
Holmes and Chavo is just fucking another one that's horribly underrated. Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah, I think Chavito, the knock on him, why he's underrated was because I don't think he was. When you listen to him talk now, like I saw when Jericho had the Guerrero family on the boat, you said interview.
Yes,
I think Chavo is just not full of himself, but I think he's just like kind of bitter.
I think he has that honky tonk man.
Oh yeah,
but not to the extent of honky, but he's a little bit, because I think he got painted with the broad stroke of your Eddie's nephew.
Have you seen a picture of Honky Tonk lately?
Yeah, I did see that picture.
He looks like looks
like Santa Claus,
a demented Santa Claus,
like Santa Claus and Kenny Rogers.
You got to know when to hold him.
To me, he was somebody that I don't want to say bitter, but he never got out of Eddie's
shadow,
and he
didn't have as much charisma as Eddie did.
He definitely did not.
He tried though. He was Kerwin White.
Yeah, listen, he was. He did try.
Michael's laughing.
But like his better stuff was in. I loved him in Lucha Underground. I loved him in Lucha Underground. Chavo, Chavito,
as Michael makes his way up to the ranks.
Yes. Oh, Austin Idol.
Yep.
But Yeah, this match was good though. Shane Helms at this point,
What's up with that?
arguably, Sugar Shane was probably the best worker inside WCW at least the most one, definitely
The
the most
best cruiserweight?
Yeah,
Better than Ray?
I think so.
Oh.
At this point, dude, he was so exciting to watch. You got it, especially during that horrible gimmick that is 3
You're
crowns.
saying that he's better than Rey Mysterio?
At this point, yes.
You're
at this
out of your
point,
mind.
I think Ray's better years was in I think, listen, not his better years were in WWE, but he was more well-rounded. And WCW, he had consistent matches, but he was also plagued by injuries at this point.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, but I still think Ray was better. Was the best cruiserweight they ever had.
Oh, they ever had, yeah. But
it's a toss up between him, Malenko, and the Ultimo Dragon. But
you know what? I forgot about Ultimo Dragon. I love Ultimo Dragon.
You should. When you get a move named after
all right, that's a bold statement. Maybe I should back it up a little bit better. But Sugar Shane at this point is very
no. You could keep your opinion. I'm just saying,
but I'm starting to think about it too, and Ray's matches in WCW. But you got to take it into context though, because once again,
I think you're letting that shitty gimmick he had at this point get in your way of your judgment.
Wow, it was
the filthy animals and the fucking no mask and the masterpiece shit. I hated it too, but it was Ray. Listen, Lash LaRue was the best cruiserweight. You guys need to recognize that. Chavo would never be as big as Eddie. You know who's saying all this, right? Matt Squires.
Oh, Matt Squires, yeah. They this is another short match.
Yeah,
another 4-minute match.
This went 4 minutes 39 seconds.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like it to me, at this point, you're just showing. Like I'm not saying you have a best of thing, but think about WCW. WCW meant different things to different people. Our generation, and I'm including you in that generation. Our generation, we probably look at it with rose-colored glasses because of we grew up in it. This is our childhood. The fact that we didn't get a goodbye. I'm not saying we gotta have a teary-eyed hug and all this stuff and bring out all these legends, but we could have had a retrospect. Once again, Ron Simmons winning the belt. Going to the matches with Austin and Steamboat
for the U.S. title.
Yeah, like you could touch on so many different things with WCW that would have been a lot better than having a 4-minute nothing match. Now, once again, let's look at it from WWE's standpoint. You're just trying to fill 2 hours, and you're just selling a pay-per-view because at the end of the show, we'll see what they're shilling. You're just selling a pay-per-view, and maybe that this is a tryout match. Like this is Chavo and Sugar Shane's tryout match.
Ray.
Yeah, these matches were good. Don't get me wrong, they were good, but I'm just saying we were kind of robbed of a goodbye, like a really good farewell, think of Flair's retirement farewell. And
which one?
The good one in WWE after he lost to Shawn and all these guys came out, and then he was wrestling 3 months later for TNA. Think about that, but think about like that really solid farewell. Like that to me, that's like we were kind of robbed of that with this, So I don't know. It's just a lot of thoughts that come in, but then Shane Helms wins with the vertebrae, which is one of the greatest finishing moves I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Booker came out and he gives a pretty good emotional interview, and he said he's not done. He's not done yet. So who knows? What's gonna happen? So that's what I mean. Like I think he kind of knew what he was gonna do, but now did Shane talk to him or Bruce Pritchard talk to him in the back? Because Pritchard and Booker T go back to the GWF days in the 90s. And, so to me, I think Booker T knew that he was going to come in at some point, but maybe he was just betting on himself, so.
That's a fair assessment.
The next match, the tag titles, Team Canada, Mike Awesome.
If I could be serious for a moment.
Lance Storm. One of the good gimmicks there, too, Lance Storm. in WCW, winning all those belts, renaming them the Canadian thing. Against Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare.
The Natural Born Thrillers.
Yeah. Chuck Palumbo, very underrated.
I like Sean O'Hare.
Oh.
Tragically died.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the whole him and Piper relationship because Piper really in real life liked him.
Yeah.
He was destined for big things. He just had fucking demons.
Just someone that and
that was the norm.
Yeah. And he had $1 million body.
He was good, man. He was athletic as shit too, bro. He was dope.
But for some reason inside the ring, just it wasn't all there. Like it just not everything clicked.
It didn't piece together, and that's one of the reasons why Piper got with him at one point
to try to make it
right because he could make.
And he did have that good gimmick in WWE.
But because it was funny because that was something that resonated to real life, and you saw it.
Yes.
Like you knew Piper had legit interest in him. Like you didn't have to watch a shoot interview. You didn't have to watch a listen to, the podcast wasn't out, but you didn't have to listen to an interview. You didn't have to listen to read an article.
Yep.
You knew Piper had an interest because these guys didn't go together.
Yeah.
But Piper was like, yo, I see something in this kid. And a lot of times when guys do that publicly, the guy they're looking after almost has like this obligation to do it.
Yep.
And I think you're right. And that's where you're right, where he couldn't piece everything together.
Yeah.
And that made it worse. So, and the poor guy had demons. So,
yeah, it's a shame.
It was very, very terrible. Terrible.
But and you could say the same thing about Mike Awesome. Think of Mike Awesome. I think he's another one that we kind of ignore a lot of the bad matches he had, and we just accent the good.
Because the only matches he had good was with Masato Tanaka.
I thought I remembered his WCW career a little bit
as
better
the Fat Chick Thriller.
That 70s guy. What do you mean?
That was him, the Fat Chick Thriller. But he wasn't that good, and I love Mike Awesome.
Yeah,
in Japan,
but he wasn't. Lance Storm and Palumbo. Palumbo had I would say a really good run in WWE as well.
Yeah, it was him and they were. You look so good to me.
And so
they were tag champions. They were actually in the WrestleMania 18. I watched it today.
Yep,
2-time champions, Mike. Yeah, look at that. Hammer throwing the fucking facts out there.
And he, but another short match, 3 minutes. What do I got? I got 3 minutes, 16 seconds here. And
I have, what do I have? 3:23.
Oh, yeah. So
either way.
So, like I said, and that's what I mean. Like, I would much rather it been granted, because why are the matches so short? And they're showing a lot of WWF clips, and, even like the next match, like why are we buttoning up a Sean Stasiak fucking Bam Bam Bigelow feud? Like, why do we have to tie this loose end?
I think they were trying to showcase Sean Stasiak. 2-time? Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. He Bam Bam against Sean Stasiak. This match went what, a minute and a half?
Minute 25. I never liked Sean Stasiak.
No,
never.
You ever hear the story with him in WWE? Why he was big. He was there at WrestleMania 17. And then somehow or another, I believe, once again, I think this is right, that he was videotaping and/or recording conversations, one or the other, secretly, and for whatever reason doing it, and then got caught and then got fired right away.
Just random conversations?
I think so. I don't know.
That's weird, though.
I think that's the story. I'll talk about the next match. I'm going to see if I can talk about it.
It's all right.
I remember hearing that somewhere.
It was the Cruiserweight Tag Title match. It was the Filthy Animals, Ray. This is my main man, Elix Skipper, who I thought was crazy underrated. And the problem with him was he didn't have any fucking personality. That dude could have been amazing. Elix Skipper could have been a superstar. Yeah. He had no charisma. And he really didn't care about. He was a spot monkey. He was one of the original spot monkeys. He just cared about doing his moves. He didn't care about anything else. And that kind of was his downfall, according to certain people in the industry, which is sad because I liked Elix Skipper. Elix Skipper and Kid Romeo. That was a 4-minute, almost 5-minute match, 4:45 title change. Filthy Animals win the titles. Well, Kevin with WWE.
Kevin, and I think he's still with the WWE.
Yeah, he's a trainer, right? And NXT.
Or he's doing like a producer or something.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a sign of the times. I mean, it's the average age of the wrestlers in this card was 31.7 years old.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a rumor that he had a tape.
It was a rumor?
It was a
Okay.
rumor.
Okay.
It said that he had a tape recorder in his bag because he was encouraged by Dr. Tom Pritchard and Dory Funk to when you're on the road driving for hours to record yourself doing promos and, to get better at it and all that. He goes, he just played a rib on a couple of guys and said he was going to play back for them. And then that plan backfired and got to the office. And so
they let him go.
Reading between the lines there. But, I remember hearing that story. So.
He had Lex Luger syndrome, $1 million body, $5 brain.
Yeah, he was never. I mean, I remember when he was with Meat, he was with Jackie.
I think Luger's in the Hall of Fame. Didn't Luger get in this year too?
Is he? I know he was.
Molly Holly's in. I know that.
Yeah, I know he was rumored.
He was rumored. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I remember him being with Jackie and Terry with
Meat.
The Meat. Yeah,
Meat.
he was
Yes.
with Meat.
Meat. I remember that. Awful.
So
there's Nick Aldis talking shit to Michael. Was he going to fight for the title?
So the next is they got they cut to another backstage vignette with William Regal talking about WrestleMania 17, and then he just starts going in on fucking WCW, and it's just weird because why is it in creative to talk about WCW as this negative thing? You know what I'm saying? Like they're less than you, like. But I maybe obviously because we all know like when this happened, the first thing we were all thinking of is invasion. Like, we're thinking of that invasion angle, but once again, we don't know about this back tied up legally and who's not coming. Like, the biggest name they got was fucking Booker T and DDP.
Yeah,
you're not gonna have a big fucking big match with Mike Awesome against, Austin. Never gonna fucking happen.
Be nice though.
It would have been, but
would have been a nice rub for Austin. Awesome because you get that's the thing some of these guys could have used. That's Booker T got it. Booker T got that rub from Austin.
Yeah.
Certain guys coming in needed that rub because The Rock did it for Booker T. Austin did it for Booker T. And that basically cemented Booker T as a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was a superstar in WCW, but it was still like, he wasn't considered big time until he came in. He won King of the Ring, and he was King Booker.
King Booker.
And they brought in his wife, Chantel, whatever her fucking name was.
Shamel.
She was on Nitro. She was on one of the dances, I believe, right?
She was a Nitro dancer.
Yeah. That's the second Nitro dancer to marry a WWE superstar.
Yeah.
All right. What? Shawnee Boy, too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Married the big titty girl. I forgot her name.
She was Whisper.
Call her big titty girl. Whisper?
I think she was
Well,
Whisper.
she whispered some big titties.
And so the whatchamacallit, so Vince is talking about how he's going to go to the ring, on one of the another pre-tape or what have you, and right before the main event, Flair versus Sting. And Sting cut a promo, which was a little heartfelt, but it was quick. It was a quick promo. He accepts the challenge. He goes out. If you really think about it, there's no greater match to have, close out the final Nitro than Flair against Sting. I wish you would have gave it a little time. I mean, this is the longest match of the night. It's 7 minutes.
7 minutes and 19 minutes. 7 minutes, 19 seconds.
You see that and you just go. But I was good to see this match. Ric Flair wrestling in a shirt. Apparently, the story was that Flair didn't plan on wrestling. He quote unquote he was out of shape, and Pritchard set up Flair's family to fly his stuff that morning. Bring it to the airport, fly his gear.
That's
out,
awesome.
And picked it up that day. But they said Flair wrestled in a shirt because he was out of shape to his standard or what have
50
you.
years old at that point.
And this was still a good match. It's like it's old hat for these guys, especially Sting. As Sting
said Sting was his favorite opponent,
and I think
WCW.
That's definitely a shoot. I would say, and he, this was a good match with that. It was just classic flare flop. Goes to the top. Sting shoots him. Shoots him with the rocket launcher. And then they had like a nice warm embrace at the end. It was fun, but it didn't really need to happen. All this stuff, but it was kind of cool to see them like hug after the match. If you really like, I think they wrestled on the first Nitro, and it's kind of cool to see them on the last Nitro too as well.
As Michael finishes the game.
Oh, you beat the game already?
Yeah, I tried on a different level though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. So then now we're gonna go into the big reveal. Vince going out to the ring, the simulcast stuff, which is interesting in its own right. How the hell do you? I'm gonna try to clean up my language a little bit. How the fuck does this happen? How do you get on both networks? How do you convince Turner to put a rival network? Who did Vince have heat on? He had some dirt on somebody.
I think he just had the clout, man.
I think
he just had the clout. I don't think he was that. I think you're making it way complicated, more than complicated than what it was, brother.
I think this is playing into my thought, because Brad Siegel was the Turner representative and in charge of WCW at the time. I don't know I forget his title.
He was the right hand man to Turner.
I believe, yes.
Him and some other guy.
I believe he was the.
Because Eric Bischoff mentioned it on Austin's podcast.
He was the guy that, he was the guy that Eric worked underneath. He was the guy that Bischoff, kind of reported to.
Right.
And Siegel had the power to shut it down. They like I said, weeks earlier, I believe, they announced a deal with Bischoff and Fusion to buy WCW for what I believe to be, I think it was upwards
pennies to the dollar.
No, millions.
I'm joking.
Millions to the penny.
I'm joking.
Because it was like something like $48 million or something like that, with $5 million up front, and then payments and subsequent payments afterwards. And so like that happened, but in order for Fusion to buy it, it hinged on WCW staying on TNT. And what happened was, and this is where we're getting into conspiracy land. Siegel, has a bunch of investors to deal with and shareholders, and they had stock options.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's what's happening. AOL and Time Warner, not only are they cooking the books, conspiracy, they're saying, they're claiming that there's massive losses in the WCW.
What are you trying to do, bro? Hold on. There's a DVD in there. There's not a game in there. You have to take it out.
And
I'm sorry, you want to play 2K? Is that what you want to do? Okay, just take out the Japanese DVD.
You can't. Yeah, I'm gonna say you can't.
You can go. Go ahead.
You can't. There's massive. So they're kind of saying that we're bleeding money, all this stuff to make it look bad. So this way, nobody can buy the product. So now here's what happens. If you have stock options with the company, right? Let's just say hypothetically you have $10 a share and you have 100 shares. That's $10,000, right? Whatever. Well, somewhere around that range.
Your math's better than mine. I'll go with it.
What's happening? Why you're going to depreciate the company is if we have those stocks, Phil, we have those stocks, and the company gets bought out at a higher price, the stock shoots up.
Right.
massively.
Okay.
Because now the company that's coming in has to buy it, has to absolve it. And all of a sudden you're paying out all that extra money.
Yeah.
AOL is not paying out that money
Hold on.
that they don't have to.
What's the matter? Yeah, take it.
They're paying out that money that they don't want to have to pay out. So to me, that's where I think it is a little bit of a conspiracy theory, because it really does make sense, dollars and cents in that sense.
Right, exactly.
Because the timetable just doesn't add up. So now at this point, Siegel is the inside. So there's an inside man, quote unquote, that works for WWF, who used to work with Siegel back at Turner, but named Stu Snyder. He was the COO of WWF at the time, and he was in hot water for other reasons. If you Google it, you can find it.
Yeah.
But he worked with Brad Siegel back in the day, and so originally WWF was scheduled to buy it, but he didn't want to buy it if they was still going to stay on Turner, because he wasn't going to. There was no need for that. So what happened was, if they canceled the show on the network on TNT, all of a sudden now Fusion's going to back out because they have no TV deal in place, and then Vince is going to buy it.
Right.
So not only do they cancel the show, and this is where they're saying that there's collusion, because now you're depreciating the company. The company in anybody's mind doesn't mean anything without TV. Essentially, you're buying a shell. Well, actually, even more essentially, you're buying the TV library.
That's basically what he wanted,
which is what Vince wanted.
Yeah.
Now, what doesn't make sense to this is the company that's with Bischoff is the company that invented ESPN Classic. They made their money on buying old stuff and showcasing it.
So why didn't they do that?
So why didn't they do that? Is really the question at hand.
Wow.
Because to me, that's what makes more sense. Is you literally made your living on doing that. So obviously something had to happen that is out of Fusion's control. And to me, that's where, once again, tinfoil hat, you shut down the TV network. Now you don't have TV. You depreciated the company. You literally gutted it in the middle. Now it means nothing. Vince McMahon, allegedly, it was on because now they were publicly traded at this time. It was on the expense report, or the earnings report, that they paid $2.5 million to AOL Time Warner. $2.5 million. And then they ended up having to pay something else, I believe. I think around the 1.7 or 8 range for, it wasn't contracts, it was something else. That part escapes me. So essentially, you own WCW, its library, its likeness, everything else, for under $4.5 million. That is an unbelievable sale price.
Yeah.
Compared to the $48.3 million that Fusion was throwing to you. To me, that's why that is why it makes sense to me. It's the only thing that can happen is for it to go to WWF, is because, one, Vince wanted Vince was going to end up with the library one way or the other. We all know this.
Yeah.
The network was already in motion. I think Pritchard's talked about it, that Vince always had the idea of owning a network.
Oh yeah, that I know.
Like, but it wasn't just wrestling, but it was going to be other stuff, other media as well. But to me, he got an unbelievable deal. And like you said, and Bischoff's gone on record as saying, well, there was no money in the library. Like, DVDs were going out of sale. Bullshit. Because literally Fusion made their money on old content.
Right.
They all they had to do was release DVDs.
Yeah.
And you would not that you, but there was no.
I see.
There's no demand for it.
I see your point.
So to me, I don't know. That's where I went with that. I went down this huge fucking rabbit hole. Thank you for letting me go on with that. It was like a valve that was choked up. I had to fucking let it go. But but like I said, that's what I mean. How we were robbed of a at least a worthy farewell. You know what I mean?
I mean, I you know what? I want to jump on that on your bandwagon. I don't think we'll ever know, because there were so many, like you said, there was so many loopholes. There was so many like cracks.
Yeah.
It made sense that Vince wanted the library because he wanted the network.
Yeah.
He wanted to start his own network. I mean, it took 13 years later, but
he had the 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. I had that in 2010 when I moved out here. I bought that. That was really good.
He had that, but it was already
that was
in
on
the
demand.
works.
That was maybe just the technology wasn't there in terms of servers and whatever. Then the definition came in and shit like that. And then on top of that, he had to restore and edit all the fucking footage he got. And then he started buying other territories. He bought Mid-South. He bought AWA. He bought Smoky Mountain. He bought, and now it's like, that's why it took basically 13 years, because he took all that, and people, that's why Jim Cornette doesn't have to work anymore.
Yeah.
Because he fucking makes money off that too.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Smart.
So it's a smart deal. I mean, I remember that night, just coming home from work, 'cause I worked 12-hour days. I was exhausted, and I just laid in bed, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, this was probably one of the coolest things I've seen since the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Since, I was I just can't, and you knew it was a story, but it was real, and it wasn't at the same time. And you were like, this is fun.
Well, this was all of a sudden, this was the quintessential dream matches we were going to see. At this point, March 26, 2001, we're going to see a Goldberg versus Austin. We're going to see a Rock versus Ric Flair, or you know what I mean, or a Rock versus
marquee
Sting.
names.
We were going to see this. We did not know at the time all this underneath.
Right,
stuff.
correct.
Correct. So, I mean, you can make the argument that we were led to believe that we were going to have this massive gold chest, and we opened it up, and there was fucking nothing in it. Essentially,
I think it's because of how the business progressed. I don't blame them. The performers, the characters. I just think the way the product was being presented, Vince was going in another direction. And this basically fell in his lap.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's what and be that as it may, whatever I said, you cannot blame Vince McMahon.
No.
Peanuts on the fucking dollar.
100%. I'm just saying, like, between then and like 2006, 7, they brought ECW back. They had the reunion. They had then with the invasion of all that. Before all that, you had the invasion. But it went a different way. They changed the name of the company. Yep. Like, he was on another level before this even happened. The product was going this way,
yep.
And he was just stagnant. He bought them, like you said, for dumb cheap, right? But it just, I think that's what happened. That's why you didn't get those marquee matches. You did get Rock and Hogan
a year later,
right? But then
which was great,
and you got a lot of Ric Flair after that with Evolution and him and Carlito for the IC title. You got a lot of shit,
Yeah, like I said, to me, at this point, it was great. It's kind of bittersweet to look back on it, because at the time I remember watching it. I was still in high school. I was a kid, and then to see Shane come out and just go, holy shit, like something big is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And come the summer, which we're gonna get into it.
Sure.
Hopefully it'll be on fucking Peacock.
I think we have the Invasion DVD.
I have it somewhere. I definitely have it.
It's on Peacock already. Okay.
And
Thank God.
yeah, so cool. So
He
like
said
to
cock.
me, said cock. So to me, it makes at this point the possibilities were endless, but the reality was
Right.
fucking nil.
Right, because I think at that point, like I said, they were going in a different direction.
I don't. Well, I think it was. Well, once you take out the competition, all of a sudden, 2002, 2003, you're still riding off that high.
Yeah, I just like.
But there was no competition. This is when
Right, but if you exactly, so if you watch, especially Raw, especially SmackDown, between 2001 and 2004, 5, just watch SmackDown.
Oh, that
Watch
was good.
Watch like 2-3 months of SmackDown, like 6 to 8 weeks of SmackDown, and then come back to me again and tell me why that fucking golden chest was empty. Because they were going in a different direction, okay? And I'm convinced that they could have, first of all, they could have kept WCW as an entity.
Well, the story was that they were going to give Monday nights
Right.
to WCW, and
So
SmackDown was going to stay on Thursday.
Right. So, like, you could have kept that and retained a lot of those guys and, like, had real competition.
Yes.
With ratings, and I mean, this was and then networks started vying for his time with TNN, and then
I think he was on and I'm sorry, I think he was on TNN at this point.
Right, but then he goes back to USA.
Yep.
So, like, again, it's just and then the name change, like I said, it's just it makes sense why that a lot of that shit didn't happen, because they didn't retain a lot of those guys. They only retained a handful with the referees, right? And then that was it.
Yep.
Do we? Of course, I'd love to see Bagwell and all the dudes. You know what I'm saying? But you never saw it. So because there was creative has nothing for you.
Yeah,
that's basically how it was.
Well, it's one of those things where you dream like you. I'm going to try to use this as an example. You buy your dream car. You get the '79 Eldorado, right? You were talking
with
about
the rag top,
with the rag top, right?
Hell yeah!
All of a sudden, you get it. You're so fucking excited. You start up the car, and then you look, and you just go, "Now what?"
Right.
It's the thrill of the chase.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden, you get there, and you just go, I thought this would be different, and that's exactly, and that's why the invasion angle was cut off at the knees, because Vince looked at it as just going, I don't need to do this.
Let me ask you this. How did he beat Eric Bischoff?
How did Vince beat him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had better booking because it was Vince. He had a better wrestling sense, and Vince was the fucking warden.
And he went in a different direction.
Yes.
He went, okay, I need more tits. I need more ass. I need more
Bischoff.
I need the angry employee flipping off the employer. He made himself a character. The progression of the company went a different way.
Yeah.
And that's what revolutionized this whole scenario.
You can make an argument that Bischoff, was the first colonel to do that.
Of course,
he made himself a character. He didn't make himself the
no, but
as good
he
as a character.
Right, but it made sense.
Oh yeah, and Vince but here's the thing: Vince did it better.
Yeah.
On a grander stage,
Vince,
on a grander.
Let's be
fashion.
honest here. Vince had better talent.
Oh, far.
He had a Rock. He had Austin. He had Foley. He had Shane McMahon. He had Kurt Angle. He had Triple H. And taking nothing away from Hall, Nash, Hogan, Sting, Luger, it just
I didn't mean to cut you off, but you completely two different things. You had Rock, Hogan, Triple H, Foley, and then you have Hall, Nash, Hogan, Luger, one of the four biggest politicians in fucking wrestling right there.
But
nobody was politicking in WWF at the time.
That's right, because it was a Vinceocracy.
Yes,
basically.
You don't like it? I mean, obviously, it's not the same today. If you don't like it, hey, go somewhere else.
Don't go hit you on the ass on the way out.
Yep.
That's
and
basically it.
I think that is a big difference. Is and it's one of the major factors and the components, I think, of WCW breaking down. You could talk money. There's a lot of questions about the money anyway. The accounting was the shits from Jump Street. What you cannot deny though was the guys, the boys, the wrestlers just literally taking advantage of. And listen, on the other hand, is you can't blame them. You can't listen. You could pay me $175,000 to stay home. I'll do it. How long was the Genius Lanny Poffo?
A lot of guys were cashing on their Lords of London things too.
And
they had those insurance things.
And then they had what was the favored nations, where you're coming in for this. Oh, my money's gonna go up higher. There's a lot of theories that you could say, and it's the same thing. You give an inch, somebody's gonna take a yard. That's exactly what it came down to. Essentially these guys were just trying to better themselves. They didn't care. There was no the thing that separates, I think, Vince and Bischoff, and this is no way putting Bischoff down, but once Bischoff got to number one, because he was number one, there's no denying it. He didn't know how to stay there because he had that whole, hey, I'm already number one. Now what?
Right.
Where Vince, all of a sudden, when he came there, he knew how to stay there.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty big component of it too.
Yeah.
So there's so many things. I think we should have a death of WCW talk and have a few different guys and
like a round table.
Yeah, and see where it is. Because dude, I'm telling you, I went all in on this fucking.
Well, we'll get the rant. I'll talk to Double A over the weekend. Maybe we'll get we'll do a round table with those guys, with him. Because him and Tony C are like, Tony C is like a WCW encyclopedia.
Yeah.
He remembers nitros and certain days and nights and pay-per-view. Like, he rattles them off. Like,
that's awesome.
He's like that, like I am with fucking NWA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then my buddy Lee would chime in, Surfer, all those. That'd be a great round table. Matt Squires probably get involved in that.
Even like I said, just to see what people's opinions are, and that's what like you were saying, like how people like value our opinion, which is just it's an unbelievable gift and honor to have, But like, I don't know. I look at it as like we just bring up. It's opinions, but it's like it's debate points, or it's like, listen, like I'm my opinion doesn't matter no more than anybody else. But if we could spark a debate, I love that stuff.
I think there's so many intriguing points to the conspiracies, because there was so much going on at the time between the money and the merge, and then all of a sudden Vince and the library and the company that had them, that's all they did was they why weren't they involved? And then you have the purchase, and why didn't they stick with the product?
Well, and I don't want to act like I read Bob Ryder's quote. Bob Ryder was quoted on this in July of 2001. And he said it then, and he said it, and his stories stayed consistent throughout the years.
Yeah.
Because even Jerry Jarrett was going to buy it. He was actually going to team with Bischoff. He called Bischoff, this is according to Bischoff, that he was going to try to
Yes.
And Bischoff kind of fucking poo-pooed him to the side anyway. But but Jerry Jarrett got stonewalled, and it wasn't from Bischoff. Jerry Jarrett he had all the documents, and he had money. I don't think he had enough money.
Right.
Who knows who his investors
right,
were?
but you don't know because.
But he had money lined up, and then apparently he got stonewalled into buying it because once again somebody on the inside had to do it, and who was in charge? Brad Siegel. So to me, and when Bob Ryder said it, it's a very you got to kind of tread lightly with it, because if you bring enough light to it, that's you're talking SEC with acquiring companies and everything. It is a massive federal investigation, and it is a heavy accusation to throw around with 20 years past it now. And once again, I am nowhere near accusing anybody of anything.
No, but
this is interesting as fuck.
Of course, because you know what it is? It's like once you get into a rabbit hole and you get one factoid, and this is how I started the podcast.
Yeah.
Once stuff that I knew about already, once I typed in something that I knew about and I got more information, and then there was footage where I didn't have on DVD or VHS. And then all of a sudden here comes YouTube and Daily Motion and all this other shit. And then now I'm talking with people on the internet. Once you get into a rabbit hole with anything that you're looking at. The other day, I got a text from Michael about a game show that we like to watch back in the day. It was Pressure Luck.
Oh, yeah.
And it was an incident where this one dude he had the whole world by the balls, and then he gave it all up. And we used his like, don't be an asshole, don't be a Greg, you know?
Yeah.
So now he said to me, he goes, is that clip on YouTube? All I did was type in Pressure Luck and Greg, and like 50 or 75 fucking Gregs came up.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, once you get into a rabbit hole of anything that's like that, you tend to pull up stuff that you don't. That's why I won't do 9/11 stuff, because it hits home for me, and I don't give a fuck how many conspiracy theories you tell me. When you are down the block from watching,
of course,
3,000 people die, it's like, I don't give a shit. You could sell me a bridge, and you know what I'm saying?
Of course,
but this stuff intrigues me because there was, like I said, there was so much going on, and you could see that there was stuff not on the up and up that Vince just took advantage of.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's just like it's literally the deal of a lifetime, because how else can you substantiate being offered $5 million up front, more than the deal you're getting from Vince?
Yeah.
Upfront cash, liquid, all this stuff, and AOL was trying to recoup and whatnot from the acquiring this asset essentially that had massive debt, and you're being upfront with this money, and then going to have guaranteed payments instead of just going, oh, we'll just take $2.5 million from Vince. Like, I smell a rat somewhere.
I'm gonna end the conversation with this, because I know you have to go home. You have work tomorrow. If WWE was a publicly traded company when the merge went, when he bought the company, I'm sorry, if WWE was a traded company at the time,
they
weren't though. When did they? No, look that up, because
I'm not sure. I thought they were. I thought it was 99 or 2000.
Maybe I'm not. Hold on.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Hold on. When did WWE go public?
I thought it was like 99.
99. I'm sorry. Yep. So my question is, if he wasn't publicly traded, would he still do this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Because he's not answering just to one. Because at that point, he's not answering to one person. He's answering to a board of directors and
that's what I mean. I thought it was 99. I'm for some reason it's always high in my head.
Yeah, October 99. October 19th.
Would he still do it? I think the answer is yes.
They were valued at 172 million at that time. 172 and a half. Okay. So do you think he would still be able to do it if he wasn't publicly traded?
If he wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was riding WWE at this point. 2001 is doing no wrong. They're racking in money.
But still, he's got to sell it though. He's got to sell it to these guys.
I think if he just goes, listen, Vince McMahon was talking about the network. He's selling DVDs at this point in 2001.
Of course.
Still selling VHSs, but DVDs are going to be the new hot.
I know all about that every Tuesday.
Yep. And to me, I think he knew, he goes, okay, if I buy this company, if I buy this library, I could probably do a best of and get and test the water.
Right. I get it. I'm just saying, like, I think the finances, I don't know.
Once again, yeah, I'm a novice at it, but to me that was very interesting to find out, because then you just go, that's why he got it on sale. Dude, that's not even on sale. That's a fucking, we're liquidating. We're selling the GameStop. We're selling the shelves off the wall.
Right. Yeah.
We're liquidating everything.
Yeah.
That's what that price was to me. because you cannot go from getting $50 million to getting 2.5, and you got to answer that. So the only way to answer that is, well, it means nothing without TV. We don't want it. And then that clearly states that Turner, at that point, AOL Time Warner, did not want wrestling on their network. They was too lowbrow.
Right.
It's an I don't want to say an inside job because I don't know if that's the right word, but it was doomed from the start. As soon as that, so that's what I say. What was the downfall for WCW? The wheels were starting to go loose already come 99, but when that AOL Time Warner hit, that merger, that's when it was cut off right there and then.
Gotcha. All right. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody in the chat room tonight. Man.
Yeah, thank you
Good
very
show
much.
tonight.
I hope, like I said, I think this is a unbelievably interesting. I'd love to get other people's perspectives.
Yeah, we'll dive into that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. You guys all know the social media handles. Pro Wrestling Tees running, I think, 20% off shit. Go buy a shirt. And that's it. Episode 400 next week.
Hopefully something big.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll work on it. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you next Friday. April 1st. April 2nd, whatever it is.
I think April 2nd.
Yeah. Say goodnight, Gracie.
All right, Gracie.